Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club streams across Facebook, YouTube, wherever you are in Australia or around the world. We're back Radical Racing and we're going GT4 racing later, but let's get this one sorted. We are at Circuit Zolder here for the next round of the Radicals. How good is this? Looking forward to this very tricky track. The Radicals will obviously create some great racing around here. We have seen that so far this season. Will Braden Sagasa be able to go back to back and be able to get another win tonight? We'll find out. But Zolder is your location. My name's Aidan Schultz. Joining me in the booth is Daniel Criasar. There is your track information. So, Circuit Zolder Grand Prix layout, the track length, 3.95 kilometres in length. We're in Belgium with the temperature at 18 degrees, altitude of 40 metres. 18 degrees Celsius, partly cloudy with 11 kilometre an hour wind. But Daniel, I'll segue you in because they're just about finished qualifying. Good evening to you, mate. Another big night in the office. We start off with the Radicals, which we've seen some great racing so far this season, and then we finish it off tonight with the GT4s.
Yeah, thanks Aidan. This one should be a cracker. Circuit Zolder always produces really good racing. I haven't seen cars like the Downforce Legends, like the Radicals, around here before, but I can only imagine with some of the other stuff that we've seen over the course of the season, we should be in for quite a good one, I think. So it'll be interesting to see just how they develop, whether or not we have chaos like we did last week, or if it's nice and clean. Yeah, I guess we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and I segued into Braden Sagasa, so we just saw him on screen there. And he has taken the pole position. So here's your grid for round number 5 of the Downforce Legends. It is Braden Sagasa off the pole, Stuart Ellis out of 2, Guy Leach and Aidan Schwerkart out of 3 and 4, Adam Lavers, and Richard Mayer out of 5 and 6, Paul Wood and Jared Knight out of 7 and 8, and David Christensen and Adam Proctor rounding out your 10 for race number 1. 11th position will be Gary Cousins, Kevin Henderson out of 12th, Sean Rees and Joe Baldwin out of your thought at 13th and 14th, Sam Chapman 15th and 16th, Sam Chapman 15th, Greg Heaney 16th, Pete Matto-Matson out of 17th, Mitch McIntyre out of 18th. Pretty decent grid tonight. We go across, I believe, Phil King was 19th. He may not be taking the grid at the moment. We've got to wait for them to grid, but looking forward to round number 5 here, mate. Can they all get off the line? We've seen a couple of incidents in the first 4 rounds on the starts. Hopefully the guys keep it nice and clean tonight. It is 2 races tonight, as per usual. It will be a reverse top 10 for the second race. So everyone's getting gridded up, ready to go. Obviously a big shout out to all the sponsors, Flash Graphics, M-Wave, Waste Options. We do have a new sponsor on board in the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, but we'll come back to that later on in the night and explain to that. But we're about to go green. Stuart Ellis, always quick in these cars, starting second. Braden Sagasa, last round's winner, in first. So Braden showing a clean set of heels again in the Radical, and it's a car that he definitely likes. Guy Leach there in third, he'll be there or thereabouts. And Aidan Schwerkart there in fourth. He will be there or thereabouts as well. So we're about to go green flag racing here for round number 5. We get 5 red lights and we're green, and they all get off pretty well. One car didn't get a good jump there on the inside, but we're down into turn number 1, and it looks like Sagas has succumbed the lead to Guy Leach. So they all get through turn number 1. And that was a pretty gentlemanlike start there, Daniel. So they all get through. 15 minutes in this race. A very quick one as the car goes wide there. And we're about to see, a move up the inside there. Kevin Henderson in 7th position at the moment. So these cars around Circuit Zolder, I haven't driven them around, but Circuit Zolder can be a difficult track in whatever car you drive. And these cars being very twitchy and downforce dependent. We saw that in the previous 4 rounds. We're going to see the same again. This is a very tricky section of the track as you're changing direction under brakes, down the hill, into the chicane. Jared Knight does it well there in the 5th position. So Jared Knight, he's already up 3 positions, so starting out at 8th. He's made a good start to this one as the car's off on the outside there. That looks like that might have been Guy Leach, possibly. I could be wrong there. It was, no, I believe.
Car 46, yep.
As he drops back a little bit. So that's how easy it is, cold tyres in these cars. very, very hard to navigate, but we're a minute 20 in. It's going to be a very quick race. Circuit Zolder, Braden Zagaza doing the same thing, off into the front. Jared Knight, the biggest mover, but now he's got, that's how quick a lap goes too, ladies and gentlemen. Already lap 1 in the books. The Guy Leach looking at getting the job done and looking to repay the favour after making that mistake on lap number 1 over Jared Knight. So this will be a battle he keeps. Oh, he's got a little bit of damage there on the front left-hand side of the car as well, by the looks of that, if I see that correctly. But you're 5 at the moment. They've completed lap 1, 15-minute race. It's Braden Sagas, Stuart Ellis, Richard Mayer, Jared Knight and Guy Leach, your top 5. Aiden Schwerker not with the best start as we go back to the replay to see what happened to Guy Leach. Just got a little bit happy on the gas pedal there, and sorry, that was Paul Wood with an incident. Sorry, I thought we were going back. So Paul Wood with an incident early in this one. Started out of 7th. He's now back into 17th position. Back on with Jared Knight in 4th. Oh, big curb hop there as it looked like Stuart Ellis has taken the lead of the race over Braden Sagasser there. So Daniel, mate, Stuart Ellis and Richard Mayer, we've seen these 3 fight with Braden, or these 2 fight with Braden Sagasser for the first 4 rounds, and it's status quo at the front of this one for round number 5.
Yeah, so Stuart Ellis just managing to get past Sagasser there for the time being. He'll lead up this race. A couple of incidents so far. We saw one there with Paul Wood, and of course Guy Leach earlier on went a little wide, clipped the wall. So now he does have front damage, as you pointed out. And it looks like Kevin Henderson also had an issue earlier on. He dropped down. He was at the time the biggest mover, up 5 positions. He's now dropped down to P16, which puts him down 4 from his original starting point. So that's a rough one there for him. He's hit the 3-minute mark. And as it stands, I think everybody started to fall into a groove, and we're probably going to see a nice game of follow the leader for the next couple of laps.
Yeah, possibly not. As we look at, there's a lot of defensive driving. Braden Sagasser very defensive down into the change of direction there, and he holds off Richard Mayer for another couple of corners. But we do see the draft in these are very big as well. Back into another change of direction here in the downhill braking zone. Very easy to get loose on exit. We saw that earlier on, just a lap ago. But these guys are sort of making a little bit of a gap now on Jared Knight in the 4th position. But Jared will be in the draft. He's still within the draft, so he's still going to be there or thereabouts. Adam Proctor is joining the back of this one as well, just off the back. So top 5, a little bit of a gap on Aiden Schwerker and Guy Leach. Aiden Schwerker in the last, he was the winner, I believe, of one of the races last week. So Aiden Schwerker at the moment in the 7th position, did start out of 4th. He's dropped back a little bit, and he's got Sean Rees, his teammate, in behind him. So keep an eye out on Aiden to try and make his way forward as well. But it's status quo at the front. We've got to move now. Adam Lavers down the inside there of, I believe that is John Baldwin. So Adam Lavers makes a position after starting in the 5th position. He's gone down 6, so he's had an incident early on and trying to make his way up and try and gain some positions back. As we know, it is a reverse top 10, so at the moment he's only got one more position, and that's Greg Heaney in front of him. And if he gets a move on him, he'll be starting pole for the second race. So we'll keep going, but it's already 5 minutes into 15. Very, very quick race, this one, as we're back at the front, and Braden Sagasser all over the back of Stuart Ellis, and Richard Mayer still there in behind this battle as well. So we'll just keep on board with Braden Sagasser for a lap if we can, mate, and just give the viewers a little bit of insight into Circuit Zolder in one of these cars as Ellis gets really loose on the exit. You can see there how hard it is to get the traction down in these cars, and Braden goes to the outside. Stuart's going to be smarter for this and hold on to the inside, I'd suggest. Is Braden? No, he's not. Braden's going to hold it tough on the outside and get the job done. So Braden not happy to sit in second, and this is allowing everyone behind to Constantina up behind as well. So we said that, or you mentioned that they were just going to settle down a little bit. Doesn't look like it. They all want to take the lead of this motor race, mate.
Yeah, Stuart Ellis going a little wide there. That's allowed Richard Mayer to come up on the inside. Jared Knight as well. So Stuart's going to drop down 3 positions there. Actually, he's going to fight for Jared Knight for this one. He doesn't want to relinquish it too quickly. Here we go. Yep, he'll shoot up on the inside. So Jared Knight will fall in line. Stuart Ellis will only drop 2 instead of 3. But it was a rough one there. So Sagasser put the pressure on coming out of the final corner. Took the lead. And then unfortunate for Stuart Ellis, he went wide up into turn 1, which allowed Richard Mayer to get up on his inside. So he's now going to have to just try to get his head back straight and see if he can clamber up those positions. But Jared Knight's making it quite difficult for him. He knows there's blood in the water, and he'll try to pounce it while the getting's good. You were saying to stick on board for a lap, and unfortunately they decided to have other means.
No, that's right.
We'll try and do that in the second race.
There's a lot of action happening there. We've got to keep focused.
Oh!
Jared Knight loses it on the exit of the corner. We saw that the lap before with, I think it was Richard Mayer doing a similar thing, and he caught it. So very easy to get these cars loose on the exit of the change of directions, mate.
It is. All of their grip comes from the aero in the car. And so these are really, really good when you're going very, very fast around a corner. But when you're coming out of a slow corner, if you're too quick on that throttle, these will spin, and there's no two ways about it. So you really do have to be liberal with the application of the throttle coming out of corners, especially as the tyre wear starts to take into effect. It's not a big deal with a 15-minute race, but you do start to notice it if you're not taking care of your tyres. If you're fighting all the time, which these guys have been, it really starts to become an issue. So, especially in this part of the track. Oh, that's an interesting line.
Nice.
So I was just about to say that chicane will send you to the moon if you don't take the right line. But Jared Knight clearly wasn't going to make the braking marker at all and just decided to go straight on. We'll see if we can have another look at that.
Yeah, very late under the brakes there, and didn't look like he was going to make the corner, and he thought, I'm going to err on the side of the caution and just go straight through. So good avoided driving there by Jared, but not ideal for him at the moment, as Schwerkart was the one that he was making the pass on there, back with Stuart Ellis in the third position. Braden Sagas are slowly getting away at the front now over Mayer and Ellis, but good driving by Knight there. He was up into fourth. He won't be happy with that, but it could have been a lot worse for the two drivers if he didn't take avoiding action. So if we just have a look at the last lap times around, 1:23.1 for Braden Sagasser and a 1:23.8 and a 1:23.7 respectively for Mayer and Ellis. So Sagasser the fastest car on track last time around. You can see that visibly now with the gap he's starting to pull on the preceding cars behind Proctor there. He started out at 10th position. You can see him in that what do we call it, multicoloured livery in the background behind this little battle. He is the biggest mover in the race at the moment, starting out at 10th, up 6 positions. But this is going to be spicy. We're now 9 minutes into 15, and Ellis all over the back of Richard Mayer. And are they going to be able to drag in Braden Sagasser? We'll find out in the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, most likely not. Sagasser's actually got quite a decent run at the top here, and if Richard Mayer and Stuart Ellis don't sort out their differences and allow each other to boost up to Sagasser, all this fighting is going to drop them further and further back. Now, that is good news for Adam Proctor, who's currently in P4, as you eloquently put before. He's slowly catching up. So if these two keep fighting, then that works in Proctor's favour, and it also works in Sagasser's favour, because Sagasser will be able to get past that 1 second mark. So, yeah, it doesn't look like they're going to ease up at all. Stuart Ellis wants to get back into second position as quickly as possible, and Richard Mayer is going to do everything in his power to make that not the case, as Aiden Schweikart takes the fastest lap of the race at the moment with a 1:22.504.
Yeah, keep an eye out for Aiden. As I mentioned earlier, he was a race winner in one of the races last week in round number 4, and he hasn't had the best of starts after starting in the 4th position, so he's obviously got some car pace. Is he going to be able to utilise that and make a couple of positions and get some extra points here? But this is the battle of the race at the moment between Mayer and Ellis. They are all over the back of each other, and Adam Proctor is just sitting in the background waiting for someone to make a mistake here and be able to pounce. So at the moment, it's still status quo, but we've got 4 minutes left, just a couple of laps left to go. Looks like Sagas is off into the distance. He's nearly got that 1 second margin. It's lingering or hovering at around about that 0.7 to 0.9. So we'll just keep an eye on it, but I think that Mayer and Ellis are driving a little bit in their rear vision mirrors at the moment. They've got a lot of heat on them. But you're seeing that gap slowly sort of come down. I'm sort of getting excited, but he's trying really hard there. And you can see how much he's trying to bridge this gap down to Braden Sagasa. It is down to 0.7. We're 11.5 minutes into 15. We've got lap times of 1.5 minutes, and we've only got, I would suggest, 3 laps to go, including this one, as we go back to a replay. Jared Knight with another incident here, I'd suggest, coming down in, outbroke himself, and he's going down into pit lane. So Jared Knight transitions through pit lane, and that's not going to be ideal for him for race number 1.
A rough one for him. He is now down 6 positions since the start of this race. Richard Mayer with some actually significant damage on the front bumper there. Looks like it's concaved on both sides. So contact has happened at some point during the lap. Stuart Ellis right up there on the back bumper. He's doing a fantastic job not letting go of this red car. The Sudspeed Autosport entry. But Sagasa is still well and truly ahead. Having said that, though, just to bring that point up that you made, the gap has dropped down. He was at 0.8, the gap earlier on in the race. That's now dropped down. Currently it's showing me as 0.3, so I'm not sure exactly what's happened to Sagasa. We're definitely not on the last lap. That's still to come, so there's a chance for Richard Mayer to get back on this. I don't know exactly what's happened to Braden, but it seems as though as Richard Mayer sideways.
Richard Mayer sideways, just as we give the commentator's curse. But yeah, he was a 10th quicker, but this has given Braden Sagasa a bit of breathing room, and it looks like he's now skated off into the distance, and it's his to lose now. But that's allowed Aiden Schwerkart now up into the 5th position, in behind this as well. And Stuart Ellis is chasing down Guy Leach. So a bit of a change there, unfortunate for Richard Mayer. We've seen that so often in this quick race that we have in race number 1. That's probably the 3rd or 4th occasion that we've seen a car do that. So unfortunate there. And it's not going to be the last time I see that tonight, or we see that tonight, I would suggest, mate. But Braden Sagasa off into the distance. Looks like he's going to take race number 1, start out of the 10th position for race number 2. Stuart Ellis, he started out of the 2nd position. He's down a couple. Adam Proctor, if you don't mind, mate, up 8 positions, started out of 10th, up into 2nd. What a race in such a short race for Adam Proctor. But he's going to have Guy Leach all over the back of him, as he is on screen. And Guy Leach will want to make the position on him, I'd suggest, as we've seen the racing at the front here. We've only got 1 minute to go, 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. So they will have 2 laps to go next time they come across the start-finish line. So it is a battle for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. It looks like 1st at the moment is done and dusted, although it's coming back down again. It's down to 8 tenths of a second, and we're white flag racing. Barney's waving the white flag. So are they going to be able to catch up onto the back of Braden Sagasa? Will Proctor have anything laid on in this one? It's a very short track, 1 minute 20 seconds. It happens real quickly in these cars. It looks like he's a little bit too far back. The gap is slowly getting down. But Braden Sagasa at 1.9 at the moment. He loves these cars. He said it to us on the broadcast. He's 0.7 of a second to the good of Adam Proctor here for race number 1. He doesn't have long to go, and he'll be taking the checkered flag here for the first sprint race here of 2 races at Circuit Zolder. So he makes his way down the heavy braking downhill section into the change of direction. We've seen a lot of action on Exeter here. He does that and navigates that really, really well. Makes his way around the fast right-hander up over the top of the hill, and he's got that gap at 0.8. So Sagasa, Proctor and Leach at the moment are your 3. Aiden Schwerkart's recovered, and Stuart Ellis making a move on him around the outside on the last lap. Is he going to make it stick? They're going to go too wide down here. Schwerkart on the right line on the inside. Is Stuart Ellis going to be able to make the move? Oh no, Stuart Ellis on the inside here. Sorry, I got miss. And it looks like they're going to hold that. Sorry, I got confused with where they were on the track, but Schwerkart holds that off, and that's going to allow Richard Mayer to have a look, and no, he doesn't. But Sagasa, Proctor and Leach takes you 3. I tell you what, mate, as they come across the line, it was hard to keep up there, man. That was so quick on how everything was happening around here.
Yeah, Sagasa managed to hold off quite well, finished with a 7/10 gap there to Proctor. Proctor managing to really profit from Richard Mayer's earlier mistake. So him going sideways caused Stuart Ellis to have to back up, but Proctor managed to get both of them, moves up into P2. It's a great result for him. Guy Leach, after having an incident really early on in the race, coming back for P3, so not a bad drive from him. And then Aiden Schweikart manages to hold off Stuart Ellis right to the line. And during that battle, Richard Mayer managed to climb her up as well. Look at that, 0.07, the difference between P5 and P6 there. So a close one for them. But for everyone else at the back of the pack, quite a different story. Massive gaps. We're starting to see Pete Matson just cross the line there, as well as Paul Wood. Jared Knight, of course, going into an unscheduled pit stop due to the late break there. He goes across, and it looks like Kevin Henderson just making his way to the line now. And Sean Reese should be there at some point, but it shows him as 1 lap down. So I think that is it for that race, and it is. So that is, we're into the warm-up session now. We'll see if we can load up the results here.
So we'll go through your race results here for race number 1, round number 5 of the Downforce Legends from Circuit Zolder. It was the 1.9 MX5's Raps Racing entry of Braden Sagerser with yet another win here in the Downforce Legends. Adam Proctor with a great drive into P2. Guy Leach came home in P3. Aiden Schwerkert, after an interesting start, made his way back up into P4. Stuart Ellis, P5. Richard Mayer came home in 6th. Adam Lavers in 7th. David Christensen in 8th. John Baldwin in 9th, and Sam Chapman in the 10th position. 11th position was Gary Cousins, Greg Heaney in 12th, Pete Matto Matson in 13th, Paul Wood in 14th, and Jared Knight finished in 15th position. Kevin Henderson in 16th, Sean Rees in 17th, Mitch McIntyre in 18th, and Phil King in your 19th position, 11 laps down. So reverse top 10 here for race number 2, mate. From what I saw in race number 1, Braden and Adam and the guys starting at the end of the top 10, let alone the guys outside that, are going to have their work cut out to make their way through the field. So 5-second penalty for car 7 in that one as well, as a little bit of a sideways moment for car 101, Sam Chapman there in this warm-up session. But mate, what do you take of race number 1? What are you expecting for race number 2?
Yeah. A couple of incidents, some chaos, so that's to be expected here from the Downforce Legends. Yeah, good race by Sagerser and Adam Proctor there. Really props to him. He managed to profit from other people's mistakes. Go up there for P2. For the second one, I would probably expect there to be maybe a bit more caution at the start of the race. But that also comes down to whether or not people can get off the line correctly, because a lot of that gets caused by people not getting a good launch, but the people behind them getting a proper launch. And then what ends up happening is that people run into each other, or they have to take avoiding action and then not paying attention to the person starting on the other side of the track to them. And that's where a lot of that can sort of compound. So hopefully there'll be a little bit more care taken on the first lap. And of course we do have a longer race, so if there's battles that develop all throughout and we have another photo finish, that'd be fantastic. But I'd probably put money on Sagerser making his way to the front of the grid fairly quickly.
Well, we're about to go green flag for race number 2, the reverse top 10 here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Downforce Legends, round number 5, Circuit Zolder. It'll be Sam Chapman, John Baldwin at 1 and 2, Christensen, Maverick 3 and 4. We're about to go green. Mayer and Ellis out of 5 and 6. Here we go. Green flag racing for the feature race here at Circuit Zolder for round number 5, Downforce Legends. Make their way down into turn number 1. Who's going to get through that clean? It looks like John Baldwin's got the jump on Sam Chapman, as there's a big incident in the background.
Yeah, that's Adam
Proctor. Not sure who that was.
Adam Proctor was caught up in that. He has spun around there, so unfortunately he drops down to P14. Not a great start for him. Everyone else up the front is managing to get away fairly well, I say that, as David Christensen goes into the side of Richard Mayer, and they are both stationary on the track.
And that is really unfortunate for Richard Mayer up there in the championship points. He's always up the front, and that's going to be a hard 25 minutes for him now to navigate. But Braden Sagerser there, after starting out of 10th, he race 1 winner up into the 7th position. So that's what we expected to see. It's an incident in the background again. So a lot to sort of unfold, or a lot to go and recap here in the first couple of corners. it's exactly what you thought, but it's not the last of it, mate. We're only 1 minute into 25 and a lot of cars around already, but Braden Sagas are already onto the back of Aiden Schwerkart there, so Aiden doing a good job. We'll watch him to move forward as well. But John Baldwin and Adam Lavers, John Baldwin's got now that second gap, that magical second gap that we talk about, as it looks like Guy Leach is making the move on the inside of Adam Lavers there for second position. He's going to get that one done. Stuart Ellis a part of that. We're back at Braden Sagasser at the moment, still chasing down Aiden Schwerkart. Stuart Ellis in the foreground has got the job done. Schwerkart's now got the job done. It looks like on Sam Chapman, and they're going to go 3 wide here, mate. They could be going 3 wide. Have a look at this battle. I'm going to just be quiet here and let you take it in scenes as they make their way down through the change direction. They've settled down a little bit now, and now Stuart Ellis is into this as well, on board with Aiden Schwerkart, trying to hold that 4th position, or 5th position, sorry, 4th position. So he holds on to that, so he'll have eyes forward on Adam Lavers. But Stuart Ellis and Braden Sagasser and Sam Chapman in behind, they've been quick and they'll want to make their way forward. So Guy Leach at the moment, he is now leading the motor race by that 1.2 seconds now, so he's stretching his legs a little bit, so he's outside of that magical second marker, mate. He's going to want to keep his eyes forward and keep trying to stretch that out. So he's had a good start. He's making the most of the reverse. Oh, sorry, he's up 7, so he started out at 8, so he's the best of the starters, and he's really capitalised on a great start and some misfortune at the front.
Yeah, that was John Baldwin running wide, which allowed him to take the top spot fairly easily. John Baldwin dropping down to P6 now in the 135 car. And Sagasser doing well, up 5 positions now. Started 10th, P5 at the moment, 1 second behind Stuart Ellis. Ellis chasing down Aiden Schweikart for P3, and Lavis in P2, so a good job from him. Started 4th, so only have 2 positions. And he'll be trying to push to see if he can catch this red and white car of Guy Leach. But so far, 3 minutes 40 into the race, and there are more crashes than I thought there would be at the start, but hopefully they'll start to settle down.
Yeah, hopefully it will. I wasn't expecting that many crashes, as you mentioned as well. I was sitting here thinking, race 1 went really quick and it was pretty frantic. I was thinking that, reverse top 10, they might be a little bit more, settled, but we haven't seen that so far. It starts to settle down now at the front, though. Ellis, Schwerkart, that's Ellis in behind him. So Schwerkart, he's having another good feature race here, mate. We saw him win the feature race. Was it the feature race or the first race last week? But he definitely won race last week. And we're seeing the same thing here for the feature race for round number 5. So keep an eye on him. He'll be strong at the back end of this one. Lavers has got a mirror full of the car number 7 at the moment. And Leach still holding a 1.3 second gap at the front. So it's sort of settled down now. They're not going to have to pit. We saw that last week. They don't have to pit in the second race, so it's a straight out fight for the end, and we'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in here on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club streams, wherever it be, whether it be across Facebook, YouTube, or any of our platforms. There's from Race Control, Car 92, Jared Knight, contact with Car 101, Sam Chapman on lap 2. No further action, he's readdressed that. So status quo, they race on and they keep going. Of course, if you're tuning in here on our streams, as I mentioned, don't go away. It is a double-header tonight. We are bringing you the GT4s from one of the newest tracks on the iRacing platform, and it is none other than Willow Springs International Raceway. We can't wait for that one, which will be a sprint round as we go back to a replay with Sam Chapman here. So we'll just keep an eye on this one. Oh, Sam Chapman with a little bit of a helping hand there, it looked like. And he's got a lot of rear damage, so he's going to have to navigate his way down pit lane. That puts Sam Chapman down the field at the moment. In my live timing in 10th, he'll go further down, I'd suggest. But back up with this battle for 2nd and 3rd. And Schwerkart doesn't look like he's got a lot for Adam Lavers at the moment. Adam Lavers is doing a great job. He's actually just taken 1/10 of a second out of the lead of Guy Leach. So very even times of the guys at the front at the moment, and Adam Maverick, the fastest lap the last time around. So keep an eye out on that as we are now 6 minutes into 25, and this is going to unfold very quickly.
Doing a great job there, P2. Guy Leach had a decent gap at the start of all this, so he'll be able to he'll probably be able to manage that quite well. Bar a mistake here as Lavis just goes a little deep into the chicane. Schweikart's now looking to pounce. He's going to possibly look to try and go on the inside of this. Lavis staying in the middle of the road as he is allowed to. Hard on the brakes here through the inside. And that's a great job there from Aiden Schweikart, but can he hold on to it? Stuart Ellis is now going to try and move up here and nab a position from Lavis, which he does up into P3.
He might have two here, mate. Oh, he's around the outside. We saw him do this in the previous race. Is he going to be able to hold on? No, he can't. Schweikart covers that off. What racing there by those guys, but Adam Maverick, he's not the beneficiary of that, or Adam Labors rather, not the beneficiary of that, down 2 spots. Look who's coming up in the background now. Braden Sagasser, mate, so he's in this fight for the minors of the podium at the moment. But the person who's liking this is Guy Leach at the front. That's now 2.5 seconds the better to the rest. And yeah, what an interesting battle there, and great driving by all the drivers to be able to get through there. But what a decisive move by Aiden to get that job done.
Yep, he saw that Lavis was wounded, struck on the inside and managed to hold on. Stuart Ellis did a great job to try and take him up on the inside, managed to get past at the start-finish line. So Lavis dropping down 2 positions. Now Sagasser can see that there's a little bit of pace lost in this car, so he may try to shoot up on the inside coming up into the second chicane. It's a risky move, but if he can hold on to the speed, which Lavis locks up, goes into the gravel, and so Sagasser will move on to P4, and unfortunately Lavis will drop back yet another one, which puts him down a -1 at the start of the race.
Oh, and here's a big thing from race control, ladies and gentlemen. Your current second place position of Aiden Schweikart, a 10-second penalty for him with contact with car 23 on lap 4. So we'll have a look at this one now and see what the penalty's for. So he makes a decisive move down the inside. He's got the corner. Oh, yeah, okay. That's interesting one there from race control. So we got to be bipartisan here, but Schweikart looked like he had the move done, but obviously didn't give enough racing room, and we'll have a look at that from another angle.
Yep.
Yeah, Schweikart gets loose. Yeah, that's on Schweikart to make the move cleanly, and unfortunately couldn't get that job done. So Schweikart's going to have a 10-second penalty at the end of this one, which will put him down the field quite substantially, I'd suggest. We'll see how it goes. There's quite a bit of gaps at the moment throughout the field. But Sagasser the one to watch. Up in the 4th position. That's Ellis and Schweikart in front of him at the moment. Last lap around, he was a 1:23.5. He was 0.4 of a second slower than your race leader, same as the guys around him, but he was making a pass while he did that as well. So keep an eye on the 0.16 over the next 5 or 10 minutes and see how the pace goes with him, and we'll keep an eye out on the lead at the front as well. That's still just staggering, or hovering, sorry, at around about that 2.2, 2.3 seconds. So already 10 minutes in, 15 minutes to go, mate. I'll take the opportunity, Daniel, to just quickly go through the sponsors. I'll let you bring up the new sponsor if you want to now, or when I finish going through the normal sponsors. I'm a little bit late to the party on that one, but of course Loebsy Racing, Login Systems, Player One Sim Gear. You can see, I'll do down the bottom, Matt M-Wave, big sponsor of Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. There you go, Login Systems, Managed IT Business Solutions. Jump on and support the people that support us in the iRacing community. Orbic there as well, been sponsor of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club for a long time. Waste Options, Loebsy Racing, as I mentioned. Player One Sim Gear will come up very shortly. They are Player One Sim Gear, p1simgear.com.au. All your sim gear stuff. Jump on and support them. And there's the one, the new sponsor of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. So Daniel, I'll segue you into that, mate, and have a little bit of chat about the new sponsor in the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club.
Yeah, so it looks like we've got a new sponsor on board, Sprite and Cider. They've got a whole variety of different products, and yeah, it looks like if I remember correctly, they are primarily an apple farm, and then just create products based on Apple on the product that they grow. So it's nice to see another sponsor on board, and I believe that I'm correct that they will be taking over the sponsoring the Formula V and also the Porsche Cup Series. So a 2-for-1 there, which is awesome. So we're very thankful for them for jumping on board.
Yeah, 100% we are. It's great to see people coming out and supporting the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Apple Farm from down in Tasmania jumping on. They must love their sim racing as we do here at the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. So big thank you from everyone here at the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for being a part of that. But Braden Sagasa looking very racy in behind Stuart Ellis. He's being very tame at the moment. It looks like he's got the pace, but he's just being very, very... what's the word for it? What did we use last week? Race 2 we saw him do this as well on the reverse top 10, and that worked out really well for him. But now he's looking to make a move on the inside. Is he going to get it done, change direction? Ellis is going to keep the car on the outside. They go 2x2 in there. This has allowed Adam Lavers back into this argument as well.
Oh, Sagasa sideways. Oh. He actually caught that so well. Lavers is going to come up and attack. He's going to look on the inside, see if he can brake just a little bit later than the purple car on the left side of the screen, which he does. So Lavers up in a P4 and Sagasa dropping back. Yeah, so I believe there was a little bit of contact between himself and Stuart Ellis coming through that second chicane. And as Sagasa was trying to straighten up that car, he put a little bit too much throttle down and the back snapped out on him. So it's unfortunate there, drops down a position. Still 5 up from the start of the race, but no doubt he'll be wanting to get that top spot. But that seems like it might be just out of reach. Guy Leach currently 2.5 seconds down the road to P2 of the number 7 car, and unless he makes a drastic mistake, I don't see anybody reeling that back.
Yeah, I don't think so, and we're halfway race distance now, so he's got 2.5 second lead, as you just mentioned, so it's his to lose at the moment. Braden tried to get that move done. There was a little bit of contact, great driving by both to be able to get through that corner. Not really a place that you can go too wide. You've got to be very committed. Oh, as Adam Lavers gets really loose there on a big jump over the curb. This is going to allow Braden Sagasa to have another go. Status quo. We've seen him make this move before time and time again tonight. He keeps it on the outside and he gets the job done on Lavers. So Sagasa back up into the 4th position. Very hard to make the moves through those change of directions there, and the guys are doing a great job. It's either going to work or it isn't, and we've seen it work a couple of times. We've seen it not work a couple of times in the favour of a couple of drivers, but Sagasa up into the 4th position. This has allowed Ellis to drive off into the distance. Swerkart has that 10-second post-race penalty hanging over his head, so essentially this is the battle for 3rd in the race with 10 minutes to go, Daniel.
Yeah, and Schwarzkopf just setting the fastest lap of the race there, 1:22.555. So he is really pushing right now, a 1.3 second gap to the car in P3. The only problem is with just over 10 minutes to go, I don't see how you can put a 10-second gap to P3. That's not going to happen. So the best he can hope for is if Stuart Ellis gets a move on as well, and they manage to clear about 4 or 5 seconds to this bubble here, Sagasa and Lavers. And then possibly Schwarzkopf might be able to salvage P4. But as it stands, most likely he'll drop down to the P5 position, as Adam Proctor is a good 7 seconds behind P5. So I don't see him bringing that back anytime soon as well. Unless, of course, Lavers decides to miss his brake marker again and cut through that chicane. But 7 seconds, that's a big, big gap.
Yeah, big gap, and that's probably the best of the pain that Schwarzkopf could have hoped for, to even just drop down into P5 after having that 10-second post-race penalty. He's currently quickest car on track, as you mentioned last lap. He's got the gap down to 1.8 seconds over Guy Leach, so he's got the car pace. He's got 15 more minutes to be able to utilise it to see whether he can gain another position or two. It doesn't look like he will over the guys behind, but we'll see how it goes. But we do have Sam Chapman up in the broadcast booth as we're on board with Aiden Schwarzkopf. Sam Chapman, mate, I can see you some laps down. You've jumped up for a reason. Good evening to you. You did mention that you weren't very confident coming into this one, and it obviously hasn't gone to plan.
Oh, yes. No, good evening. No, this is probably about as well as expected, to be honest. As soon as it was an invert pole, I saw trouble written all over that. bought the track an hour
Aiden
and a half
Schweikart's
ago.
off! Sorry to cut you there. Aiden Schweikart has gone off and he has dropped back all the way down to P5. And it looks like Proctor might just be able to catch him as well. I'm not exactly sure what happened there. We'll go back.
Proctor goes past, Woods in behind as well as we go back to the replay. So Schwerkart down into the braking zone here.
Oh, hits the sausage head big
That's
time.
too much curb and sends him.
That curb's nasty as well.
Oh, and then he gets hit by the... Look at that. He tries to get out of the barrier. Oh, that's a big, big loss for Schweikart. 10-second penalty. And then, of course, dropping back down, you can see Proctor left of screen. That is a rough go for the number 7.
Yeah, whatever already was going to be a rough race to try and hold on to the top 5 with that 10-second penalty, that's not going to help him as well, as Proctor's in front of him now as well. So he's got 10 seconds to pay on top of that as well. Proctor's got some damage on that front left-hand side of that radical as well. So Schwerkart, he was lucky enough to come away with no physical damage. Does he have underbody damage or anything we can't see? He looks like he's still quick at the moment as he's all over the back of Proctor. Paul Wood, I tell you what, let's give Paul Wood a bit of love here, mate. He's up 7 positions, started 14th, he's up into 7th, and he's the car you can see just in behind this battle. You see him come out of the corner there. So Paul Wood, one of the best movers and shakers so far, but Schwerkart wanting to make the move here and try and get another position. He's not going to want to stay in behind here as he's got that 10-second penalty, but he needs to drive off 10 seconds into the distance on Proctor here, which he's probably not going to do. You saw Proctor with a little bit of rear end damage there as well. So not many cars here, 18 minutes into 25 in this feature race around number 5 of the Downforce Legends that aren't sporting a little bit of damage. So yeah, very interesting race, different to what I see, but this track obviously it's what we sort of thought with everything, with the close nature of the racing, the lack of downforce, so to speak, with these change of directions, where these cars like the high downforce fast corners, a lot of change of directions, and we've seen that tonight in the radicals, and that's why we've seen quite a lot of damage and some uncharacteristic mistakes from some drivers.
Yeah, definitely. We'll go back to you, Sam, as you so rudely interrupted with a live update from the race. But yeah, just give us your thoughts on the car, the track, and the things that you're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like the car. I just haven't done much time in it. It's just you got to make sure you're getting that braking right. You know, understand the downforce and that sort of thing, which is, I guess, not my strong suit. But yeah, I mean, these chicanes here, the curbs are pretty aggressive on these cars. They don't really like it being so highly strung. So you don't want to hit them wrong, as Aiden unfortunately found. But yeah, I also thought that the being a feature race, it would have a fuel stop, which it turns out it did not. So I gave myself yet another invoice there, and then got an unsafe pit on the way out. So that's what happens when you don't know the track race.
Yeah, I actually got updated from Adam Lavis last week. So the Downforce Legends are 2 sprints to the end, from start to finish. There is no pit stop. A pit stop isn't scheduled for the Downforce Legends. So we were under the impression that it was like some of the other series that we do, where generally the longer race has pit strategy. But no, for the Downforce Legends, they've decided that it's just like 2 sprints, start to finish. So yeah, it's unfortunate you got caught out by that.
Yeah, that's all right. It gives me more time to practice the GT4s, so that's all right. I'll leave you guys to it.
No, you're right, Sam. You're welcome to hang around, mate. There's 5 minutes to go. I was just mentioning Schwerkart just got the job done on Proctor. So Schwerkart up into the 5th position. Paul Wood now is right onto the back of that as well. So Woodsy, the biggest mover in the race, up 7 positions. He's in right behind him as well. But Sagerson now having a look for second over Stuart Ellis. 4.9 seconds the guy leads at the moment, so he's to lose. But Braden Sagasar, he's been up the front most of this series, and now he's trying to put the wood on Stuart Ellis and make a move into second. He shows the nose on the inside. He thinks better of it that time. As he make away to the corner, Ellis gets really loose on exit, and you can see how easy it is to get loose there. Braden Sagasar driving a very decisive race here. We've seen him do that in these reverse grid races. He started out at 10th. Now he's fighting for second. He's probably not going to have enough time to get Guy Leach, but will he make a move on Stuart Ellis? We'll see. Adam Laver's still just holding on in the 4th position in the background, so he'll be hoping that these two guys have a little bit of an incident and he can try and get a couple of positions here in the feature race. But 21.5 minutes down, guys. Just 3.5 minutes to go, so that would be 2, maybe 3 laps, depending on when they come across the start-finish line. So we'll find out the next time around. But ladies and gentlemen, everyone tuning in here on your Gentlemen Sim Racing Club streams here for round number 5 of the Downforce Legends. As I mentioned earlier, don't go anywhere because we're going to bring you round number 5 of the GT4s from Willow Springs at the conclusion of this one of Sagus's into the back of Stuart Ellis. Yeah, just I'm doing a segue. They always do it at the wrong time, mate. But he might have a price to pay for that one. And Adam Lavers might be the beneficiary of this one. So we're waiting to see what race control do say about that one. But before we go back and have a look at a replay of that, as I mentioned, we are going to go live at the conclusion of this one for the next round of the GT4s from Willow Springs. So don't go away. Once we crown the winners here for round number 4 of the Downforce Legends, we will have a chat to the top 3, then we'll have a little bit of a break and we'll bring you all the action around number 5 of the GT4s from Willow Springs. But at the moment we're waiting to see whether Sagasa gets a penalty here for that, and it looks like it's Guy Leach's to lose at the front, as we've only got 2 minutes to go, which would be either this lap and one more, I'd suggest, as we go back to the replay.
So it looks like, yeah, he got a little loose in the corner. Sags goes right into the back, Stuart Ellis, and then Lavers has nowhere to go either, and he hits Sags on the way through. I would assume maybe that's a hard one. That's a hard one to judge there. I'm not race control, and thank God for that. But
yeah,
Ellis getting sideways, and that's what I thought as much, that it'd be a racing incident, because you see Ellis losing traction there. Sagasa can't do anything. He's the following car. Now, if they had been at speed and Sagasa had driven right into the back of him, that's a different story, and you probably would have seen a penalty of some kind. But for Stuart Ellis to have lost traction there and not caused the incident, but it was a big factor. I feel like a racing incident there is a fair call. So that'll be play on now. Sagasa 7.3 seconds down the road to Guy Leach. Guy Leach has this well and truly in the bag, as long as he doesn't hit the divider on the first chicane, and he'll keep that clean. It looks like we are white flag as well, so this will be the last lap of the race.
Yeah, those sausage curbs, as they call them, they've definitely played a part tonight on those change of directions. We've seen plenty of drivers get caught out with those. Sagasa, though, on board, that you just saw there, one of the biggest movers. But this is a battle for 6th and 5th on the racetrack at the moment. So that's Paul Wood all over the back of Adam Proctor. This is all for championship positions in the feature races here. It's very important to be able to try and get some good results in the feature races, more points than there is in the first one. So this will help Paul Wood if he can get this job done on Adam Proctor. He's going to have a look. Proctor's going to position his car in the middle of the track. No, he opens the steering wheel a little bit, takes the normal line and keeps the position on Woodsy there. So only a couple of corners to go, but we might have to go back because Guy Leach is about to take the race win here for the feature race for round number 5 of the Downforce Legends. And here he comes across the line. Guy Leach takes the win here for round number 5 for the feature race at Zolder, but this battle is still going on. We need to watch this. Woodsy down into the final change of direction. He's still sitting in behind. Oh, Proctor goes a little bit wide. He's going to get a good run off exit. Is he going to be able to get the side draft down and get it done? They're going to go side by side, and it looks like Proctor's going to hold on there as they come across the line. Oh, what racing there by the guys. But, mate, this was thick and fast tonight. I couldn't keep up. Back to Richard Mayer at the moment. He hasn't had the night that he would have wanted. He's had a couple of podium positions this season. He's back in 12th. This is the battle for 12th and 11th. That's Christensen in front of him. So they've got one more change of direction to go. Is he going to try and make the move? We're about to find out. He's not quite close enough at the moment. He's just going to have to sit there status quo. And he does. And it looks like that Christensen's going to hold on to that one over Richard Mayer as they come across the line. So Christensen holds on to 11th and Richard Mayer in the 12th position. And that's the last of the runners here for the feature race, mate.
Yeah,
So we'll go through your finishing positions here for the feature race of round number 5 of the Downforce Legends at Circuit Zolder here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club streams. It was Guy Leach in first position, Braden Sagasser in second, and Adam Labers coming home in your third position. Stuart Ellis in fourth, and Adam Proctor rounding out your 5. Paul Wood came home in sixth position tonight, with Aidan Schwerkart, even after that penalty and the incident, coming home in 7th. What a night that could have been for him. Gary Cousins in 8th position, Greg Heaney in 9th, and John Baldwin rounded out your 10. David Christensen in 11th, Richard Mayer in 12th, Sam Chapman in 13th, that you heard from earlier. Jared Knight in 14th, had a lot of pace tonight, just not the night that was for him tonight. Kevin Henderson in 15th, Pete Maddo Matson in 16th, Sean Rees in 17th, Mitch McIntyre in 18th, and Phil King rounding out your 19 starters. But mate, what a great night of racing here in the Downforce Legend. We'll start, I'll bring up, well you just have a look here, I'll bring up the drivers into the broadcast booth. It looks like they've all gone except for H. Schwerkart. We might just quickly bring up him and have a little bit of a chat before we just have a little bit of a break before we bring the GT4, so I'll just get that done.
Guy Leach and Sags are also on standby.
Well, I can't see that. Oh, there they are, into there, so yeah. Alright, thank you for helping me out there, mate. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that brings to an end round number 5 of the Downforce Legends. It was Guy Leach, Braden Sagasser and Adam Labers, your top 3. We do have your second and third place getters up into the broadcast booth. We'll start off, Braden Sagasser, mate. Another good night at the office, a car that you like. Unfortunate little incident there in the feature race, but I tell you what, from watching it, this track, Circuit Zolder, with these cars, very tricky to handle, can be hard to pass at times. Yeah, how'd the night play out from your standpoint?
First race, I'm still a bit sick from a few days ago. Yeah, first race was still was pretty good. Just stayed in front, stayed out of trouble. Second race, by the way, it's hard. I think me and Guy were talking before. It's really hard to overtake around here. You have to have a perfect manoeuvre inside and have respect from the guy to your outside as well. It's really hard to overtake. You know, I think I was caught up with an incident with Stuart when he got a bit loose through the second chicane, and yeah, and just tagged him a little bit. And, yeah, you just don't know where to go. With the high speeds of these cars, if someone checks up in front of you, you don't know where to go.
Well, mate, it's still a good night at the office. Winning race number 1, coming off a win last week and some solid points. Winning race number 1, same as last week, starting out of P number 10. Played it pretty easy there, made your way up through the field. Obviously, Guy Leach, a little bit too far off in the distance. He did have that little bit of an incident there with Stuart. So, got to be happy with that. Nice bag of points again here for round number 5, and we head into round number 6.
Yeah, 100%. It's just trying to keep it nice and consistent. Just be there at the end for the championship.
Well, mate, we'll keep it quick. We are going to have a little bit of a break very shortly so we can go and bring all the action of the GT4s from Willow Springs here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club stream. But we can see you on screen there, the 19 MX Wraps Racing, mate. Another solid night at the office in these cars. We expect to see you at the front for round number 6. A big shout out to everyone involved, mate, and a big congratulations.
Yeah, 100%. Just the MX Reps guys. Once again, been with us for a while. You know, good to have them on board, and also the 19 boys. I think I had Jake, and then our team boss in here as well. He was rooting us on, so it's good to have some background support. Yeah, nice and quick.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Big congratulations from everyone at the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We look forward to hopefully speaking to you at round number 6. But congratulations on your effort tonight, a P1 and a P2 on the reverse top 10. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, your second place getter here for the feature race of round number 5 of the Downforce Legends from Circuit Zolder. It was none other than Braden Sagasser. Leads us across to your winner, Guy Leach. Guy, mate, started out of P number 8, made the best of the start, and then you weren't headed, and you won by 8 seconds.
Yeah, I got a good start. I seem to get these things off the line well, which helps a lot. And yeah, luckily for me, I got out in front reasonably quickly, and unfortunately the boys were battling and jostling behind me, and yeah, I got a nice gap, and I was able to just concentrate and keep it clean. I learnt in the first race, the first 2 laps, I was all over the place. I learnt my lesson and kept it tidy in the second one.
Well, mate, did you feel them breathing down your neck early? I know you had about a 1.5 second gap lead, but you knew that Braden and the likes of Stuart Ellis would have been coming for you. They were quick all night. Did you have one eye in the mirror, or you just put your head forward and tried not to make the mistakes?
A bit of both. That chicane on the back straight is a killer if you get it wrong. So I did see Aiden sort of have a half lose behind me, and I breathed a sigh of relief because it gave me a little bit of a gap which I was able to work with for the rest of the race.
Well, you definitely did a great job, mate. Big bag of points there heading into round number 6. How do you feel going into round number 6? It's a very tough series, this. A very, very quick guys, and it's very competitive. We see the draft is very big. Different tracks have different racing. Very hard to get a race win, as we've seen so many different race winners this season so far. How do you feel going into race round 6, rather?
I'm not even sure where we are next week, but I think it's important to get as far up as you can for qualifying, and then just try and be tidy. It's very easy to lose these things, so it's not necessarily outright pace that'll keep you up in the top spots. It's just being consistent.
Well, Guy, mate, big congratulations on your race win tonight. We don't mean to cut it short, but like I did mention, we do need to have a bit of an interim before we go and bring the GT4s from Willow Springs, mate. But you're the winner of round number 5 of the Downforce Legends. A big shout out to everyone makes it possible.
I'd like to thank you guys, obviously, and the Gentlemen's Club and Injectors Online Racing. Thank you.
No worries at all, Guy. Thank you, mate. Big congratulations again from everyone here at the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. We hope to see you on the podium next week for round number 6. But there you go, Daniel, mate. Round number 5 of the Downforce Legends, done and dusted that quick before we go to GT4s, mate. Quick take of tonight's racing before we go to our interim break.
Yeah, no, it's good all round. We saw some chaos in the first one, we saw some chaos in the second one. Zolder, I'd say, pretty much delivered. And yeah, I have nothing else to say, but another great job well done from all the guys in the DFL. So yeah, on to the next one.
100%, mate. But there we are, ladies and gentlemen. It is round number 5 of the Downforce Legends, done and dusted here on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club streams, whether you be tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere around the world. That is the Downforce Legends done and dusted. Don't go away. We're about to go on interim break because we're about to bring round number 5 of the GT4s from one of the newest tracks on the iRacing platform. That is none other than Willow Springs. But from myself, Daniel Sarr, and everyone at the GSRC, Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, don't go away. We'll go on a little interim break and we'll bring you all the action of the GT4s here very shortly.
simple, dear. I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn. Your pawn. Your pawn. My love was
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, everyone tuning in here on your platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club stream, whether it is on Facebook, YouTube. Willow Springs is your location. We're back. We've just seen the Downforce legends around Circuit Zolder, but Willow Springs, we're now here for round number 5 of the GT4s from Rosamond in California, USA. Back with me in the booth is Daniel Saar, doing the cameras, help me out on the comms. Good evening to you again, Daniel. Nice little start that we saw there on the Downforce Legends. And we're here at Willow Springs on what is one of the newest tracks on the iRacing server. We'll go through and give you a bit of an indication of what the track is like before we say good day to you, Daniel. So, of course, the configuration is full. 3.91 kilometers in length. We are in the United States of America in the desert. Temperature is 20 degrees Celsius. And we are in the city of Willow Springs, altitude of 737 meters. 19 degrees Celsius tonight, clear track, 12 kilometre an hour winds. As I just mentioned, my name's Aidan Schultz, joining me in the booth and produced by Daniel Careerstar. Good evening again to you, Daniel. We've just gone through the Downforce Legends, which was a great night of racing, but now we're about to go GT4 racing here for round number 5.
Yeah, mate, thank you. Yeah, it was a good one there from the Downforce Legends at Zolder. But yes, as you said, we are here now. The great US of A. At Willow Springs Raceway, a very famous circuit known all around the world for the GT4 Round 5 series. Qualifying has just wrapped up, so unfortunately we'll have to wait for that to time out before we can bring you the grid for the first of tonight's 2 races here for the GT4s. And it usually always produces some good racing here. The last time I raced here in the GSRC, I got punted way out in that field on your screen right now. So I could have had a better day that day for sure. And it looks like we've got our grid.
Well, we'll bring up your grid as it's on your screen here for the Orbic Australia GT4 Challenge. Race number 1, we do have 2 races tonight. So it will be Sam Chapman who's claimed the pole with a 1:18.513 off the pole, with Trent Wavers out of P2, Jared Knight and Jeff Adams out of 3 and 4, Mike Hammertime Hammond and Gary Cousins out of 5 and 6, Richard King and Benjamin Downton will start out of the 7th and 8th positions tonight for race number 1. Adam Wavers out of 9th and Ben Woods out of 10. Good evening to you, Ben. Good qualifying there, mate. Good luck to you. 11th position, Dale Sharp. Nick Ferdiitis, who had a tough night at the office last week, out of 12th. Kurt Chapman and Joe Baldwin will start out of the 13th and 14th position tonight. Phil Butler, my teammate, good luck to you, Phil, out of 15th. And Jake Jackson from 1-9 out of 16th. Unusual to see him down there, so he'll want to make his way forward in race number 1. Grant Gill in 17th. David Christensen starting out at 18th. Paul Wood in 19th. And Pete Matto-Matson out of the 20th position as we go across the page. In the 21st position will be, I can see Luke Keamy's there, but I'm not sure whether you'll be able to get that data at the moment,
No,
Daniel.
it doesn't come up for if there's only 2 other people.
Yep, right. So Luke Keamy will be out of the 21st position, and out of the 22nd position will be, I can't quite see that. But anyway, we got rolling start here for round number 5 of the GT4s from Willow Springs. We are out in the desert, as you can see, and it will be Sam Chapman and Trent Lavers off the pole. We do have 2 races tonight. It's not an enduro type of race. We did see the enduro race an hour and a half in the GT3s around Road America on Tuesday night. On Monday night, rather. A little bit different here. So Sam Chapman off the pole, Lavers second, Knight third, Adams fourth, Mikey Hammertime Hammond fifth, and Gary Cousins out of 6. We have a Porsche, Aston Martin, 2 Mercedes, and then 2 Porsche in the top 3 rows. So I haven't done any laps around here before the pace car's going to come in, so bear with me as I call this one, but we're about to go green flag here for race number 1, and we are green flag racing as Sam Chapman gets the jump down into turn number 1, mate.
Yeah, it's a decent start from everybody. Here we go, flying into turn 1. Well and truly in the lead of the race. Trent Lavers is going to try and shoot him up on the inside though, and he might just do it here as we cut across. A decent shot here from the Aston Martin here. So down to the inside of turn 2. This will go up the hill now, and Sam Chapman will just fall back in line. So a decent start there from Trent Lavers. Moving up into P1. And nice and clean at the back there. Haven't seen too many events pop up on the log. Looks like Jake Jackson had a bit of an off-track adventure, and Benjamin Downton as well. But they've come back on with no damage. And as we get to the back half of the first lap, it looks like we're going to... Oh, his Trent goes a little too wide.
Really wide there from Trent, and Sam Chapman's going to be the beneficiary of that. So is Jeff Adams there. And it looks like Jared Knight's trying to make a move as well. So one little mistake there and you can go right back. So it looks like that Jared Knight's going to get up the inside as they make their way down through this final section. Trying to hold tight on the outside there, Trent Lavers, and he will do so. And he'll have his car in the right position for the next corner. No, he doesn't. He falls in behind. So from first to third position, he does hold on to that. That's how quickly it can change. So Sam Chapman leading the way over Adams and Lavers and Jared Knight in the 4th position. But Jeff Adams out of 4th, starting in 2nd. He wants to have a go at the lead up the inside here. And he's having a little bit of a look on Sam Chapman. He didn't quite get his nose up there. And they're going to go status quo. We've got 12 laps for race number 1. Or as Jeff Adams just goes off track. So very easy to go off track here by the looks of it, mate. Like I said, I haven't done a lap around here, so I'm commentating a track I do not know. So feel free to help me out. But a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes, I'd say. Like, it's very easy to go off track a little bit on the outside, and we saw how much that hurt Trent Lavers early on in this one, and Sam Chapman taking the lead at the moment. So different track. Give me a little bit of a read on the track, mate, on what you see. It looks like a very fast and flowing track. Change of directions, obviously elevation changes. Give me a bit of a read on the track.
So Willow Springs is well known for having all of the runoff area available to you. There are only a couple of walls here, which is at the top of the hill at turn 4, I believe. And then, of course, just along the main straight as well, there's a wall to your right. Other than that, it is all desert, and you can go quite far. The undulation of the track lends itself to you going wide. The corners invite you to just keep your foot in. But then if you do that and not pay attention, you will go wide and you will go on an adventure, just as Joe Baldwin learnt just then in turn 1. So it's very easy to do that. This is something where you have to keep your head on straight and pay attention to your markers, because just like that, you can get baited into holding that throttle longer than you actually can. And you will go all 4 wheels off the track. Luckily, iRacing put in that patch a while ago, which allows you to actually drive on surfaces that aren't the black stuff. But even so, it is still going to slow you down, as race control deal at a 15-second penalty to car 304 Grant Gill for an unsafe rejoin with Jake Jackson on lap 1.
unfortunate there for Grant. So at the moment he is sitting, I can't even see Grant on the, he's actually down. He's now a lap down, so he's had an incident, so he won't feature in this one. He's got a further 15 seconds to pay on that one as well. As Nick Fodiatis, a bit hot under the collar a couple of weeks ago. He's on the inside there of Dale Sharp, I believe that is. Is Sharp, he goes a bit wide. I believe that is Dale Sharp. No, that was... Sorry, my live timing is going absolutely crazy at the moment. So that's Kurt Chapman he's fighting with at the moment. And this is a spicy little battle. Ben Wood's in behind them as well, as is Joe Trucker Baldwin. I just saw him go off track just a couple of corners ago. So this is a nice little spicy battle for the edge of the top 10, mate. We're only lap 4 into 12. This track obviously creates good racing. As I said, a lot of the change of direction and going up and down around the different corners. This battle is 4 or 5 cars deep as they're too wide in the background. That's Joe Baldwin and Mike Hammond in the background as well. So Nick Fodiatis there on screen in the 10th position. That is Kurt Chapman in front of him. Looks like the rest of the drivers are sort of going off into the distance at the moment. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, everyone tuning in on the Gentleman Sim Racing stream, Gentleman Sim Racing Club stream, that's your top 4 on screen at the moment. Jared Knight, who we're on board with, he's behind Jeff Adams, Trent Lavers and Sam Chapman. Don't go away because we've got... Oh, as Lavers gets really loose there on the exit, is this going to invite Jeff Adams for a little bit of a look as they make their way down? We will find out. No, he's just going to sit there. So, mate, I don't know the track, so it's a little bit hard to commentate, but 5 laps into 12, we've got a longer race later. It's showing that it's creating good racing and the guys are doing a great job, but it's so easy to make a mistake and just try and create too much on track and try and take a little bit too much on exit and you can get caught out really quickly.
Yep, like I said, it baits you into trying to hold that throttle. And especially if you're following another car, dirty air becomes a problem. You think that you can hold onto the grip and then the front of the car just doesn't stick. We'll actually go back slightly and watch as Trent Lavers here. So just keep an ear out on the engine. And yeah, he just went wide there. Luckily, Gimmo managed to rejoin without too much fuss. But it's very easy to do. You just have to pay attention to those corners. You also have to watch out for the curbs coming up to the top of the hill. They are vicious. Especially turn 3. If you cut that, your car will catapult into the air and you will be fired into one of the only walls on the track. Oh, as Trent goes wide again.
Oh, they're all doing it. They're definitely fighting hard and trying to use all the tracks. Sam Chapman, who's leading the way at the moment, we spoke to him in the Downforce Legends. He didn't have a night that he wanted. He just bought the track for the Downforce Legends and he didn't have the night he wanted, but he's now in the GT4s here around Willow Springs and he's leading the way at the moment as they're too wide in front. That's Adams and Lavers. Jared Knight we're on board with at the moment. But I tell you what, they're using all the track, but they've got off tracks as well that they need to worry about here tonight, Daniel. So they've got to watch those off tracks, otherwise they'll see themselves getting a drive down pit lane. And there's a couple that have used a lot up already, as this is a battle for the top 4. Looks like Sam Chapman's got his head all around this track at the moment, as does Adams, Lavers and Knight. But they're definitely using all the track and trying to use it all to their advantage early on in this one. It's only a 12-lap race out of 6. This is allowing Gary Cousins and Richard King to keep a part of this fight as well for a 6-car fight for the battle of the lead. Don't write off Adam Lavers and Dale Sharp in behind this as well. But good racing so far, already half lap distance, 6 into 12, mate, and it is a 6-car fight for the front.
Yeah, Adam Lavers is 1.2 seconds behind the car 75, Richard King there in P6, so that's going to be really hard to clamber up. That would require some significant mistake from the cars ahead in order to bring that back within the 6 laps that we have left in this motor race, as it looks like Gary Cousins has something to say to Richard King as he goes side by side. Richard King managing to hold him off though, so he will hold on to P5 at the moment as the blue Bailey Ladders Porsche there. Gary Cousins will slot back in line. Richard King starting to drop off to the front pack actually, 1 second now, so there's a little bit of a gap between the front 4 and the 2 behind. I wonder if he'll be able to clamber that over the course of the rest of this race, but if he and Gary Cousins continue fighting the way that they are, they will most likely drop off and have their own little race instead. Sam Chapman in the lead of the race, doing really well at the moment. Car 101. Jeff Adams right there, though. Ramrod Racing yellow Mercedes ready to pounce. Unfortunately, because of the Mercedes heavy weight, it's a little bit difficult to try and dive in on some of the inside corners, but the main straight is most likely where he'll be able to take the most advantage with that car.
Yeah, you mentioned the Mercedes. We did see them very fast in practice and in qualifying. There were 3 of the cars, I think, inside the top 6, and it still stays this way at the moment. The best of the Mercedes movers, actually 2 of them joint. So Jeff Adams, who you're on board with now, he's up 2 positions starting out of 3rd. He's having a look on Sam Chapman down into the corner now. He's not going to be close enough to get that job done, but he started out of 3rd. And he's now fighting for your pole position getter tonight, Sam Chapman. Bit of a touch there on the right-hand outside. That's going to allow Trent Lavers to have a little bit of a look on the inside, and Jared Knight getting a good run on the outside too. And they're all going to go rally crossing on the exit there. So they're all using all the track, and we're too wide as it looks like Lavers there just gets it a little bit wrong, but he keeps holding it. That's going to now Richard King's going to have a look in the background as well. What racing, mate? You don't know where to look.
Yeah, it's all happening, and Willow Springs will do that. Now, when gaps start to form, they drop, but it seems as though the fight between Jeff Adams, Trent Lavis, and Sam Chapman allowed some more of the cars to the back. This was at one stage a 6-car fight. We had a slight gap in the middle of that. It dropped to the top 4, then a small bubble, and then you had P5 and P6. That's Richard King and Gary Cousins fighting for their own little race. But all of that managed to bring up Adam Lavis and Dale Sharp. And so now technically, all within a second of each other, you have cars 1, P1, down to P8. And it's all up in the air. We are lap 9 of 12 as Sam Chapman just crosses the line moving into turn 1 there. Trent Lavis tries to look on the inside in the Aston Martin, and it looks like it's decent, but race control might look at that. That is technically a bit of rubbing. They do say rubbing is racing in this part of the world, but I'm not too sure about that.
He's going to readdress that one. There was side-by-side contact, and he didn't give him any room on the exit, so he readdresses that one. There probably won't be anything to be spoken about there, but that is allowed Jared Knight to have a look in the Mercedes in the background as well. Brought Richard King back closer. Adam Lavers back close. Now it's definitely an 8-car fight, 9 laps into 12. So unfortunate there, he couldn't get the job done. Side-by-side contact. These cars are definitely, or these drivers are definitely driving hard here for the first of what will be 2 races here of the GT4. Some of the bigger players are out tonight. They're not in the server, but Sam Muir we don't see tonight, and we don't see a couple others. So these guys are going to want to make sunshine as it, well, what's the saying? Make
hay while the sun shines.
Hay while the sun shines. That's it. Make hay while the sun shines, and try and get some points here. So we'll see. But another 10 there by Jared Knight in front. Definitely using all the track. Are we going to see? Oh, there we go. Readdress car 29. Exactly what we said. Trent Lavers Racing Room. So he readdressed that one. But are we going to see an issue with some off tracks here and some incident points maybe tonight? We're about to find out. But we're lap 10 into 12. I believe they'll probably have about 17, I'd suggest, for usually a sprint race. So, but they're definitely using all of them. Lap 10 into 12. And it is Chapman, Adams and Lavers, your 3. Richard King on board 5th. Jared Knight just in front of him. And Adam Lavers right in behind him. Dale Sharp there as well, and Gary Cousins tagging onto the back of this one as well. So the top 8 are definitely off down the road. They've got a further 4 seconds behind to Mike Hammond as we go back to the Orbic replay. Benjamin Doughton. So Benjamin Doughton in the BMW, a newer guy into the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, got tagged there on the back end. So he's had a little bit of a rough start here on the GSRC, and he won't be happy with that, but he's got race number 2 to try and make his way back up. He's been quick. Oof. And Trent Lavers there using all the exit again. So they're definitely using all the exit there. Are they actually getting a off track, do you think, there? Or, yeah, I don't know, but they've all seemed to use it on one occasion or the other.
I'm not too sure if that constitutes an off track, but we do have our resident race control, Josh Swino, in the booth. Maybe he can clarify. Is going wide coming onto the main straight considered an off-track? Or do you have to have all 4 wheels?
So it won't actually come up as a 1x, so to speak, if you dip a wheel. But if there's a move that's made on the outside, I will definitely take that into consideration as we consider racing the black stuff. You know, we pass on the black stuff.
Rightio, so there we go, mate. Sorry to cut you off there, Daniel, but there we go. So that's why they're using it, because they're not getting the 1x off track. So you can actually use that. Oh, big slapper there from the Mercedes there. But you can, that was Adams that you saw have the big slapper, as we've got 1 and a bit laps to go. But yeah, interesting to see there that you can use that exit and not get a 1x, but obviously race control's not going to look kindly at that if you utilise that to forward your track position, so to speak, as we're on board with Trent Lavers, and he's got a big run now on Jeff Adams down into turn number 1. How good's this battle? We're about to go white flag racing. Jeff Adams up the inside, Trent Lavers up the inside of Jeff Adams. He's going to get the job done. And after starting out of the 2nd position and Sam Chapman out of 1st, it's front row 1 and 2. Will Trent have anything for Sam in the last lap? I'm sure Jeff Adams is going to have something to say about this. This is a fight for the top 3, and we've got 1 lap to go here for round number 5 of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club GT4 Challenge. And I don't think it's all over yet, mate. I reckon Trent Lavers has something to say about this at the front. We're 0.3, 0.2. This is definitely not over with under a lap to go.
Yeah, the only problem is going around the final turn, is known as the sweeper here at Willow Springs. It's very, very difficult to pass. And as Josh from Race Control pointed out, you try to make a move on the outside, and he's going to pay attention to it. So I don't think that he is in a position to be able to make that move. The only thing that might happen is if Sam Chapman pays a little bit too much attention to the rearview mirror and goes wide, that might allow Trent, if he holds his line, to make it to the line. But Sam's just going to use all of the track. He'll swerve out, and that's a fairly easy win there for Sam Chapman.
So we go, Sam Chapman takes the win over Trent Laves, Adams, Knight and King. And we
Ben
go
Woods.
Oh, Woodsy trying to have a run? Not quite. Over Joe Baldwin. No, sorry. Yeah, it was over Joe Baldwin. Not quite. 0.06, if you don't mind, as they all make their way across the start-finish line. But that's race number 1 done, mate. How quick did that go? Race number 2, reverse top 10, I believe, again.
Yes,
and we're going to see Chapman out of the 10th position off pole will be Joe Baldwin. So we saw Joe, as we see all the drivers go across the start-finish line, will bring you what was the positions for race number 1 here at Willow Springs for round number 5 of the GT4s from Willow Springs. Mate, I tell you what, I'm glad I bought this track tonight because I'm going racing here. This was great. I want to go racing here. That was sensational racing.
It is. It's a fantastic track. It's a good addition to the server. Willow Springs is many a favourite to race drivers, whether you've played it in Forza or Gran Turismo or driven it there in real life. Most people tend to quite enjoy it, and it's got a really good rendition here in the iRacing service. I believe we do have the points available now, so we'll cut over to the results there for you.
So your results here for race number 1 of the Orbic Australia GT4 Challenge from Willow Springs for round number 5. It was Sam Chapman taking the win over Trent Lavers in 2nd, and Jeff Adams rounding out your podium positions in 3, Jared Knight in 4th, and Richard King in 5th position. Adam Lavers in 6th, Dale Sharp in 7th, Gary Cousins in 8th, Mikey Hammertime Hammond in 9th, and Joe Trucker Baldwin in 10th. Ben Woods in 11th, David Christensen in 12th, Paul Wood in 13th, Nick Bodiatis in 14th, Kurt Chapman in 15th, Benjamin Doughton, we saw him facing the wrong direction early, he held on for a 16th position, Chris Stark in 17th, Luke Keamy in 18th, Phil Butler in 19th, and Pete Matto Matson in the 20th position for race number 1 tonight. In the 21st position was Grant Gill, 1 lap down, and Jake Jackson, unfortunately, after starting high up in the positions, in the 21st. So he's got a long way back to come for race number 2. We are in the warm-up session at the moment. A big thank you to all the sponsors, of course, Flash, Graphics, M-Wave, Waste Options, Lobesy Racing, everyone involved in the GSR streams. I hope you're enjoying everything we're bringing to you here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, where you're tuning in from Australia, all around the world, on our streams of Facebook, YouTube, anywhere. Hope you're enjoying it. GT4, we're about to bring you very, very shortly the feature race here for the reverse top 10 around Willow Springs. Josh, in the broadcast booth, quickly before we bring the feature race, mate, race number 1 from Race Control, how'd that look for you?
Mate, yeah, very good. Unfortunately, there was only really a couple of incidents. One unsafe rejoin and a little bit of accidental contact, which, you know, happens. This is a tricky track, tricky combo. Boys have done amazingly well, so hopefully we can see a repeat for round 2.
Well, no doubt we will. We're going into the feature race now. As soon as it comes up, we've probably got a minute or two, I'd suggest, before we can bring it up. Have a look at those pictures. That's Willow Springs. How good does that look? Here we go. Here's your starting grid for the feature race. Round number 5 of the Orbic Australia GT4 Challenge. Joe Baldwin off the pole. Mikey Hammond out of 2. Gary Cousins out of 3. Dale Sharp will start out of 4th. Adam Lavers and Richard King will start out of 5th and 6th. Jared Knight and Jeff Adams out of 7 and 8. Trent Lavers and Sam Chapman, your race 1 winner, out of the 10th position. 11th position will be Ben Woods, David Christensen out of 12th, Paul Wood out of 13th, Nick Fodiatis out of 14th, Kurt Chapman will start 15th, and Benjamin Downton out of 16th. Chris Stark out of 17th, Luke Keamy out of 18th, Phil Butler out of 19th, and Pete Matto-Matson will start out of the 20th position. 21st will be Grant Gill, which we can't see at the moment, but we are now under pace car conditions. Joe Baldwin off the pole position. Always love the reverse top 10s, Daniel. We're not going to see anything different to what we saw from Radicals, I don't think. There's some hard chargers at the back wanting to make their way forward. A lot of points to be gained here in the GT4s. A lot of big players out, so some of these drivers wanting to make some big gains in the championship tonight as we're about to go feature race racing.
Yeah, so Joe's going to have an angry bunch of cars behind him as he leads this grid for race 2. He did quickly jump into the booth, but unfortunately we were mid speech, so we'll have to talk to him on the other side of the race. We'll see if he can hold on to this first place position as the pace car comes in. So you can see Barney just on the right side of your screen there, getting ready to wave that green flag, and we'll be able to get this underway.
And we're green flag racing here for race number 2, round number 5 of the GT4s, the Orbic GT4s here at Willow Springs. Joe Baldwin with a good jump there. We're 2-3 wide, already 2 cars off onto the outside there. We'll bring you that back on a replay. But Baldwin off into the distance. Ben Woods with a good start at the moment. He is in 10th. He's up 1. He's now dropped back to 11th. So we're 2-3 wide for the edge of the top 10 at the moment on the start of the race. But we're 3-4 wide here for third, 4th, 5th and 6th in the race at the moment. They're all sort of trying to navigate their way through the first lap here. It's 19 laps. It's a lot longer than the first race. A lot of guys with a lot of pace sort of starting mid-pack, so they're going to want to navigate their way through the field early and try and keep out of trouble. And we've got a couple of big movers and shakers, but Joe Baldwin at the front, he's off at the moment. He's 2 seconds up, and they've got a second gap over this fight, you can see, which is led by Gary Cousins, Adam Lavers and Dale Sharp. Richard King there in the Mercedes as well, right in behind. And
Dale Sharp getting sideways. He was so lucky to catch that, just get tapped on the back of the car there, I believe. And he's actually managed to get past Trent. Oh no, he's dropped down, sorry. I got confused. It's Trent and Adam on the same livery. So Adams managed to pass him, so over to Gary Cousins, and yes, now Trent Lavers up into P6, so Dale Sharp dropping down 3 positions from the start of this race to P7. And a slight incident earlier on as they were coming up the hill just here on the previous lap. He actually ran into the back of Adam Lavers' car, causing some damage, which is what led to that 1.4 second gap now between Mikey, Hammer Time, Hammond, and Adam Lavis. So a rough one here for Dale Sharp, but we've got plenty of race to go. See if he can bring him back up.
Yeah, long way to go in P7 at the moment. He's now cleared Sam Chapman in behind him. So we'll go back to the replay and have a look at what happened. Nick Fodiatis in an incident here. Oh, tag on the back there. So a couple other cars. Jake Jackson nearly involved in that as well. So yeah, mate, it was interesting you to see. We're lap 2 into 19. You say you got confused there, and you're the one controlling the cameras. So when I get confused, that made me feel better about myself because you're getting confused and you're controlling the cameras. But Sharpie now trying to make the move on Gary Cousins. He's going to get that job done. So now he's moved up into the 6th position. So, as he uses all the track on the outside there, and that allows Gary to come around the outside again. Is he going to hold stead on the outside? Doesn't look like he's going to be able to keep the car there, and for the second time Sharpie's going to get in front, so he's moved up into the 6th position after having a little bit of a slower start, and he'll have his eyes forward. Sam Chapman, your race 1 winner, started out at 10th. He's now in the 8th position, so he's moved up 2 positions on his starting position. Lap 3 into 19, but they count down very quickly around here, Daniel, and no sooner do you blink, they're done. So it might seem like he's got a lot of time to make his way up to the front, but he really doesn't, because it's very short lap times around here. 15-second penalty for car 69, Trent Lavers. Contact with, I didn't see that, with the car, so we'll go back and have a look. So Trent Lavers, you can see him in the Aston Martin there on the inside, and yeah, contact with the right-hand rear of Jared Knight, and that's what imposed the penalty there. So there's a move there. Sam Chapman making the move on Gary Cousins. So Sam Chapman now up into the 7th position after starting 10th. He race 1 winner. Adam Lavers at the moment, he started 5th. So his brother, he's up into 3rd. I think it's his brother, is it?
Sorry? Adam and Trent?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. Yes, they are.
Yes, brother. So up into 3rd, and he's got Mike Hammond in front of him at the moment, and they've closed the gap on Joe Baldwin by quite a substantial margin. So we're seeing the same as we saw status quo in race number 1, just a little bit of different names at different positions. We've got 4 or 5 cars at the front at the moment. So Joe Baldwin, Mike Hammond, and Adam Lavers, your 3, and it looks like we're getting a move for the lead of the motor race now.
Yeah, that's well done. I wonder if he'll be able to hold it coming onto the exit, though. Mikey's done a really good job there, actually. So he will move on to the lead of the motor race. Joe Baldwin in P2 and Adam Lavis right there. And have a look at Trent Lavis, though, down the inside as he tries to grab Richard King up into turn 1. If he can hold the momentum, he will, and he does. So another position gained there for the Aston Martin. And now we might see some sibling rivalry now as Trent Lavis chases down his brother in P3.
Yeah, so it's currently Porsche first. We saw Porsche win race number 1. And we've got Aston Martin 2, 3, and 4, Mercedes in 5th, at BMW 6th, and Porsche 7th, 8th, and Aston Martin in 9th. So all the different makes to look out for. The Aston Martins are looking very quick around here at the moment. You can see them 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at the moment, but the Porsche has been quick too. We did see the Porsche win, Sam Chapman win in the Porsche in race number 1, and we're seeing Mike Hammond sort of stretch his legs at the front at the moment in the Porsche. But the Aston Martins, we'll see whether they've got something for the Porsche as the race does progress, and that's Baldwin, Maverick, and Lavers at the moment on track, which is your 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So this is a battle between the brothers at the moment, Trent and Adam, in the Aston Martin. But they'll probably work together a little bit here. There's a 10-second penalty there for car 00 Ben Woods contact with car 99 Nick Fodiatis on lap 1. But Trent looking up the inside of his brother Adam here in the team-coloured Aston Martins, and Adam's just going to open the door there, and that's a change for position. Trent Lavers up into 3rd position over Adam Lavers in 4th, and they'll want to truck down Joe Trucker Baldwin. See the segue there? Truck Joe Trucker Baldwin down. I didn't mean that. But they'll want to track him down, and they'll want to make their way forward to try and chase down Joe and Mikey at the front of this one.
Richard King! So
The Mercedes.
that's a rough one there. I saw that developing in the back, but I wasn't quick enough on the camera buttons to catch it. But that'll be really, really easy to watch. Here we go. So Richard King saw an opportunity on the inside and then forgot what the brakes were. Have a look at this. Just taps him right off the track. And considering the amount of distance that's been gained by the time, he's not going to be able to redress that. So I would assume that he will unfortunately be given a penalty for that by race control.
Yeah, unfortunate there. He did see the gap, and there was Richard King going off track there. Big time.
Oh, he's gone off. He's decided to take the scenic route, ladies and gentlemen. Is he going into the pits for this?
I don't think he had a choice.
Okay. That's one way to do it.
Well, you pay your iRacing dollars, you might as well use the whole track, yeah? So, Richard King, unfortunately, that's unfortunate for Richard, we might joke, but unfortunate. But Ben Woods, he's up 5 positions on his starting position at the moment. He does have a penalty coming his way as well. So we did see this in the Radicals as well, mate, where we were talking about Aiden Schwerker, and he was making his way forward, and then he had an incident. So hopefully we don't put the commentator's curse on Woodsy. Woodsy, obviously, with myself, the people that run the up-and-comers, Woodsy doing all the hard work on that. Good to see him up, having a good run in the GT4s. Of course, he's got a price to pay for the incident early on in this one, but he's doing a good job at the moment. 10-second penalty there for car 75 contact
King,
with. Yeah, that's the incident we just saw. So Kingy's gotten a little bit of a penalty there as well, so he won't play a factor in this one tonight. But here's the battle for the front. It's the 3 at the front. It's Mike Hammond, Joe Baldwin, and Trent Lavers. Trent's one we got to look out for here. He's going into pit lane early. So there we go. It is going to be a fuel stop tonight, and he's decided I'm going in early and I'm getting out of this, and I'm going to try and get some clean laps. Where he comes out on track is going to be interesting as well, because there's a lot of cars further down where he might actually get caught up with them and not be able to utilise this undercut. So we'll keep an eye on this one in the next couple of laps, as Hammond and Baldwin have pretty much the track to themselves at the moment to cut some pretty quick laps and try and extend their lead to try and null and gate that undercut, mate. So we'll see how that happens. So Baldwin, Hammond leading the way, or Hammond and Baldwin in that order. Sam Chapman, your race 1 winner. He's actually the quickest car on track. Last time around, 119.221, better than the best on track, 119.578. It was Joe Baldwin in the black car, you can see in second, and a 120 flat by your leader of Mike Hammond. So Sam Chapman, the quickest on track at the moment, he's the one that's going to want to utilise his track position and try and get the quickest laps he can. So when he comes into pit lane, he can try and null and void that undercut that what we saw there, because they're going to pit at different times as he catches a lot of curb there. So we'll just keep an eye when they come across the start-finish line this time around and have a look at the lap times between Mikey Hammond and Joe Baldwin at the front compared to Sam Chapman in third. Of course, obviously, we had the early pitter, so we'll see what happens there. But, mate, strategy is going to play a thing. Tyres are not going to play a part. They will not be taking tyres. This will all be about fuel.
Yeah, that's right. No need to change tyres in this one. It will just be a fuel stop. So Mikey Hammond and Joe Baldwin still staying out, as well as Sam Chapman. Biggest mover at the moment, Grant Kill, up 11 spots, but yet to pit. So, of course, that will come down as everybody settles after the pit stops. Just try and see if I can bring up the pit lap information, and that way it'll be easier for those of you watching at home to see who has and who has not stopped. So Kurt Chapman as well, 10 positions gained from the start of the race, up in a P5. So that's a massive, massive gain. We'll see if he can maintain that position once he comes in for his stop. But of the people who have, I think it'll be... Well, interestingly, Dale Sharp pit on lap 5, and he's currently P13, so... Wow. Okay. That's a huge
Now
jump for Dale Sharp.
Joe Baldwin's in pit lane, so it's happening quicker than we can actually talk about it at the moment. Jared Knight there in 10th position after starting pole in race number 1, I believe he did. He's up into 10th position in the Mercedes. So he's got the job done on Grant Gill, who comes into the pits. So that makes him up into the 9th position, now 8th position, as he jumps Nick Fodiatis, who was through pit lane as well. So Jared Knight up into the 8th position. Already 10 laps into 19, mate. It's happening very quick, a lot to play out. Obviously, again, a big shout out to our sponsors, Login Systems, Player One SimGear, Orbic, our new sponsor as well. I haven't got my head around that, so I've got to leave you with that one. Dale Sharp into 12th position. He's had a bit of an interesting night here for race number 2. He's down 8 positions, started 4th, but we do have all the pit stop strategies to play out at the moment, and he'll be up there or thereabouts. So we'll see what happens. He's right in behind Joe Baldwin, who's been through pit lane. So Joe's got his compulsory pit stop done. So this is the effective battle for position on track at the moment. And Joe Baldwin, after leading or second in the race and second in the race early on. So this is probably the effective battle for second and third and possibly first in the race. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of laps as we're seeing people come into pit lane. Paul Wood in pit lane at the moment as well. So 11 into 19, mate. A lot to play out.
Yeah, definitely. Mikey Hammond, still in the lead of this race, decided not to come in yet. A big question mark for me, though, is what happened to Trent Lavis? So he pit early, but he is way down. Joe Baldwin pit lap 9, currently exiting in 9th. Trent Lavis pit lap 7, and he's down in P16. So either he changed tyres, or actually, let's have a look at his pit lane time. So Trent Lavis went in for 1 minute and 15 seconds. Now
he got a stop and hold. He would have got a stop and hold. 40
yep.
Stop and hold.
Yeah, so that's huge and rough.
That's where I was struggling to commentate, because I thought he was going to be the one to come out and fight for the lead of the race. And I kept looking through my live time, like, where's he gone? Who was that? So he's obviously got a 40-second stop and hold. So that's made pay to his chances of trying to win this one. So this is the effective lead of the motor race, I'd suspect, mate, at the moment. Dale Sharp and Joe Baldwin, they were up the front. Sam Chapman, don't write him off as well, because he still hasn't come into pit lane. His last lap, 119.6, his best 119.1. Mikey Hammertime Hammond in pit lane as well. Sam Chapman in a really good place at the moment to try and go back-to-back wins as well. So we'll keep an eye on Sam Chapman and where he wants to come when he wants to come into pit lane. We've only got 7 laps left, as we've got the marauding hordes. There they are.
They get together.
Contact. Joe Baldwin and Dale Sharp got together in the background as well, so Mike Hammond will be liking that. So Mike Hammond goes clear of that battle. So Mikey Hammertime Hammond, he's just got to keep an eye on Sam Chapman now, I think, to see who's going to take the effective lead of the motor race. I could be reading this wrong, but from what I'm looking at, Mikey Hammertime Hammond would be liking what he's seeing behind at the moment. He got a big jump there. He had a lot of pressure from Joe Baldwin early on in this race, and Dale Sharp, after getting into contact early and trying to make his way through pit early and utilise that, and got himself back up into a good position. So Sam Chapman's the one to look out for at the moment for when he comes into pit lane, mate.
Yeah, and he's decided to continue on. So he will start lap 13 and stay out on track. So the closest battle at the moment is the one on your screen. It's Dale Sharp in P10, chasing down Joe Baldwin in P9. Mikey Hammertime Hammond, technically an effective lead of this race, but we don't know exactly how that will pan out. We'll have to wait for Sam Chapman to make his pit stop and see how that resolves at the back end. Joe Baldwin and Dale Sharp still fighting. Dale Sharp shoots down the inside, and there's contact. And that's unfortunate. That's a really unfortunate incident there. It was heavy contact at speed. Dale Sharp getting sent by the curb. And that's caused him to drop back. Unfortunately, I don't think he lost a position there, and that would be because the car in front of him, Benjamin Doughton, is actually down a lap. So luckily for him, that was a back marker, so the positions stay the same. But unlucky for him is a big, bright yellow Mercedes in the rearview mirror.
Who's that off?
Benjamin Doughton just going for an excursion on the inside of the track there. He's moving out, trying not to impede. So yeah, Richard King has managed to close this gap now, so he will be in the fight for P9. And Joe Baldwin, although he did get hit off course, managed to recover quite well, and now he's 1.6 seconds down the road.
And you know who'll be smiling about all this is Sam Chapman. He's off into the distance at the moment. He still has to pit, but all these incidents. There we go, 15-second penalty for Dale Sharp contact.
Yeah,
that hurts.
That's rough. But that was in all fairness, that was a heavy hit. That was at speed. He tried to shoot down the inside and just did not have the room. And yeah, tapped the back of that car. And Joe Baldwin was proper sideways off the side of turn 1. So I can understand that judgment.
Yeah, 100%. You got to be able to make the pass cleanly and do it effectively and cleanly. And he was there, but he just didn't get that done. So unfortunate there, and that's going to make pay to his night, 14 laps into 19. So a big chunk of points gone there. Nick Fodiatis is up into the 5th position as we're looking at Trent Lavers at the moment. He's in 14th, and that's Pete Matto-Matson right in behind him in the Porsche. But I'm interested, 14 into 19, it's going to be a late pit, and it looks like Sam Chapman's in pit lane. So Sam Chapman into pit lane, so we'll just keep an eye on him and see where he comes out. So let's just stay on this. Gary Cousins behind him in second. Effective second on the racetrack is in pit lane as well. Jared Knight's still out there, so he's 20 seconds behind where Sam Chapman is. So keep an eye on this, see where Sam Chapman comes in. Looks like Gary Cousins has jumped him. Oh, no, he didn't because he just pitted in front of him. So Sam Chapman will come out in the lead of the race. Nick Fodiatis up to the front. He hasn't pitted yet. So Sam Chapman out in the front, and he's now got a 7-second lead over Mikey Hammond. So Sam Chapman utilised that track position when everyone pitted earlier and got the lap times done, and he's now 7 seconds essentially in front of Mike Hammond in the lead of this motor race. Nick Fodiatis, who you can see is first in the race at the moment, he's still got to come through pit lane as Richard King now is having a battle with Dale Sharp around the outside in the Mercedes. Richard King up the inside. He's going to get that job done. So Richard King now up into the 6th position, and that's Gary Cousins just in front in the 5th position. So this is the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th.
Joe.
Joe Baldwin.
Joe Baldwin off the track there, rejoining in P8 now. So Richard King and Dale Sharp profiting big time, moving up to P5 and P6 respectively. But Richard King actually has quite a... actually, no, that's Gary Cousins just ahead of him. So it's Gary Cousins that's got the 8-second gap to Mikey Hammond for P3. So as this develops, Sam Chapman's got this pretty much in the bag. Hammond with a 3-second gap. Sam Chapman's got all the air in the world ahead of him. All the free air, clean air. So I don't think Hammond's going to be able to get him unless there's a big mistake from Chapman. But considering the driving he's done so far, I think it's a safe bet to say that Chapman might take race 1 and race 2.
Yeah, looks like it. Joe Baldwin won't be happy with that, though. He was on a fight to get a second position there, as we're still on the battle between Richard King and Dale Sharp. They've been too wide for 3 or 4 corners now. They don't know who's going to give up. It looks like Sharpie's going to give up on that one. But that allowed Paul. Yeah, Woods down the inside. Doesn't quite get that one done. This is allowing Joe Trucker Baldwin to stay in fight of this battle. But Joe won't be happy with that because he was in the position to possibly get a second position in this one. Oh. And he did a good strategy. But the racing around this... Oh.
So that'll be when Joe Baldwin came back on track. To be fair, he did jump back on track quite harshly, and so I can understand that being dealt. From what I saw, it seemed as though it was clean-ish. but I do understand where on track that is and the undulation that happens because you are going down the hill and the corner leans into the right and Joe Baldwin was off to the left. So from driver's eye, you're not actually looking to the left side of the track, you're looking to the right side of the track. So I can understand that call being made. But Joe's managed to climb up to the back of Paul Wood here. So there's a decent fight for P4 as it stands.
Just to add to that as well, any time that a car has to make evasive action when a car is rejoining, that is a penalty. So that was the case with Richard King there. He had to lift and get off the racing line. So, yeah, safety point.
That's right up. There you go. That's race control from Josh Duno. Thank you for clarifying that, mate. We saw race one pretty clean, but there's been a little bit more to deal with here for race number 2, mate. We're lap 17 into 19. Paul Wood, we were on board with Nick Fodiatis. The man that was a part of everything last week, he hasn't had the run that he wanted tonight as well. He's back in 15th and he's fighting Pete Matson for 15th and 14 as Matson goes very wide there, and Fodiatis is going to get the job done around the outside. So he'll go up into 14th position. He's got Phil Butler in front of him as well. So we're now lap 18 into 19 on board with Joe Baldwin in the 7th position rather. That's 6th, 5th and 4th in front of him. So we're now 2 laps to go here for round number 5 of the Orbic GT4s around Willow Springs. Sam Chapman with a night that he would love after not having the best nights in the Downforce Legends. Looks like he's going to go back-to-back wins. Adam Lavers here in the 9th position, all over the back of Adams at the moment. So this is a battle that's still got a lot to go with only 2 laps to go, mate. But I tell you what, it's ebbed and flowed a lot through this 19-lap race around Willow Springs.
Definitely has. But, sorry, do you want to chime in there, Josh? I heard an
Yeah, yes, I just caught an unfortunate. Just happened to be on board with car 99, Nick Fodiatis, and he got a little bit loose and is going to get a drive-through for going through pit entrance far too quick.
Okay. See, I was about to bring up the fact that Nick Fodiatis went into the pits twice. And I thought to myself, that's weird. Why would you do that? And then, and then you saying, oh no, I thought maybe those are connected. So I'm assuming, based on that, he's probably gone really, really wide in the sweeper and gone off track and then hasn't been able to make it back onto the track in time. And, just clipped that pit limit like full speed. So it's an unfortunate one for him.
Sorry there, Dan. To add insult to injury there, I believe that penalty is typically a stop and hold too, so I'm not too sure if he was reading his instructions there, but dare I say he'll be in the pit lane again very soon.
Well, we're on the final lap here, ladies and gentlemen, for round number 5 of the Orbic GT4s. From Willow Springs, Sam Chapman, Hammond and Cousins is your 3. This is a battle between Adam Lavers and I believe that is Jeff Adams in behind him as well. So this is a battle for 8th and 9th on the racetrack, but we're white flag racing here for round number 5 of the GT4s around Willow Springs. It will be Sam Chapman coming away with a back-to-back win. Trent Lavers there. It's a night that could have been for the Lavers, mate. They were very quick all night. Obviously, the reverse top 10 hasn't been very favourable for them, but here we go. Sammy Chapman across the line, and he takes the win for round number 5 of the Orbic GT4s here around Willow Springs. We've got Dale Sharp still having a battle here with Richard King. They all come across the line, and Dale Sharp comes across.
He got him! Dale Sharp got him at the line. The timer is showing 0 across. He actually pipped him at the line. You are kidding.
Sharpie coming home with a P4, 0.001 over Richard King. Paul Wood, Joe Baldwin held on to a 7th. Adam Lavers in the 7th. Oh no, he got 8th. Adams 9th. Knight 10th. Kurt Chapman 11th. Trent Lavers 12th. Phil Butler in 13th. Pete Matson 14th as they keep coming across the line. We'll go back to that final coming across the line. Have a look at how close this is. BMW versus Mercedes as they come across the line on the Orbic replay. Have a look at how close this will be. We'll wait for him to come across.
So
There's the Daily Ladders 58 car come across of Gary Cousins. Have a look at how close that is. Sharp over King. Talio paper between that. He was actually behind and then just went across.
What a finish! Look at that!
How
Zero
good is
across the board on that. And I almost want to argue, is it me or is the BMW longer?
The BMW is longer. It has to be. Has to be. If you go back 2 shots, he's behind. Go one more.
Look at that, they're even.
Yeah.
Oh! Talk about
Man.
technical regulations.
Yeah, it's a front splitter, isn't it, mate? Front splitter, straight up. The Mercedes would be dirty about that one. Old Kingy, he'd be like, I need a bigger front splitter. I thought the Mercedes front splitter was big enough as it is. Obviously not big enough for the Beamer. But there we go, ladies and gentlemen. There is your place getters for the feature race, round number 5 of the Orbic Australia GT4 Challenge, here from Willow Springs on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. It was back-to-back wins tonight for Sam Chapman, with Mikey Hammond coming home in 2nd place, Gary Cousins in 3rd, Dale Sharp, as you just saw with that amazing finish, come home with a 4th place over Richard King in 5th, Paul Wood in 6th and Joe Baldwin in 7th. Adam Labers in 8th, Jeff Adams in 9th and Jared Knight rounded out your 10. Kurt Chapman in 11th, Trent Labers in 12th, Philip Butler in 13th, Pete Matto Matson in 14th, David Christensen in 15th, Luke Heamy coming in 16th place tonight, Nick Fodiatis, who had one too many trips down pit lane in 17th, Grant Gill in 18th, Benjamin Doughton in 19th and Chris Stark in 20th. Well, mate, what a race for the GT4s. We saw it all happen in the Downforce Legends, and what a race it was around Willow Springs. Albeit, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, not the best broadcast from me, from commentary, not knowing Willow Springs. We tried to bring you all the action, and it definitely was fun here in the GT4s. So we're looking forward to next week. But, mate, Daniel, thanks for carrying me tonight, because I absolutely had nothing.
That's all right, you were fine. Willow Springs. It's interesting that you'd never heard of Willow Springs before, but anyway, it's a fantastic track, and I'm glad you've got to experience at least a decent showing of racing for your first time. As we just jump onto the replay of the race that just ended, and I'm still trying to just come across the head with Dale Sharp winning. He literally won because his car is longer. That's so good. Well, it's not good if you're Richard King, that's for sure, or Jared Knight in that instance. He got tapped by Trent Lavis. Trent Lavis ended up getting a penalty for this particular incident. But yeah, just a crazy finish to the end of that race there.
100% it was, and it was great, man. I actually can't wait to turn a lap around here, because that looked like a hell of a lot of fun. Before we wait, though, as we look at the some of the action that we saw here for round number 5 of the GT4s, the Orbic GT4s here at Willow Springs. We've got some of the drivers up in the broadcast booth, and we'll just have a chat to them as we wait for the podium place getters to get up here. And one of the first ones I wouldn't mind having a chat to is Jeff Adams. Jeff, you up into the broadcast booth, mate. 9th position tonight, down 1, started 8th in the feature race. It seemed like a lot of fun out of there. There was a lot happening. Welcome to the broadcast booth, mate. Congratulations on a P9.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, it was a good night. Apart from turn 1 on the feature race there, I was part of that carnage and got taken out and went all the way back to the back. And then I was running with a bit of a broken car for a little bit of loss of straight line speed there. But yeah, I had good fun overtaking and just enjoyed the track. It's a perler, actually. Wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, it looked like it. I'd only bought it tonight, and I haven't cut a lap around here. I was meant to last night in the up-and-comers, but unfortunately I got held back at work, so I couldn't. So my commentary was very, very terrible tonight, trying to be able to cover that. What did it feel like in the car, man, in a GT4 around Willow Springs. Last night in the up-and-comers, they were in the Toyota 86s, which was obviously a lot of a different type of car. Looked like it created some good racing.
Yeah, it definitely suits the GT4 car. It's definitely got a good speed and good flow to it, and it definitely rewards you if you're smooth, and you get a lot more pace out of some of these corners. The 86, I reckon it'd be good fun out through here as well. But I'm not sure what the GT3s would be like, but I know the GT4's got good pace here and it's good fun.
Well, mate, we'll just keep you there for a second. We got Sam Chapman coming up into the booth. He's there as well. We'll just keep you there in the background, so just stay there for us. Joe Baldwin, mate, good to see you back in the commentary booth, mate. Always here on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Committee member, obviously. Race control. That's the one that got away from you, mate. You were up to probably be in a P2 before you had a couple of incidences there. So the one that got away from you there tonight, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. I same old story. I always say with Zach, I just don't get any laps. I get home and I literally sit down and qualifying starting. So it's just a matter of getting the laps in, and I'd probably go a lot better than what I do. But there was Dale Sharp. He had pace on me, but we had a little touch at turn 1 there when Mikey came out of the pits. I just got short-footed. I didn't know which way Mikey was going to go, and the next lap, unfortunately, there was a bit of contact down there at 1, which probably cost us a bit. And then up the top of the hill around the staircase there, I don't know what I did. I just picked up the throttle early and I just ran straight off the track. So yeah, it's probably one that went begging. But in saying that though, unfortunately for Dale, he got a 15-second penalty in the race, and Richard King got a 10-second penalty. So if those end up going through to the keeper, we'll end up, Woodsy will end up picking up 4th, and I should pick up 5th overall. But we'll, you don't want to get those positions because of penalties, but that'll probably end up being the end result. It's unlucky for them guys, but yeah, it's just, I did say to the guys, if you minimise mistakes around here, you'll get a result, and unfortunately, a result went begging because I didn't do that.
Well, mate, you're a little bit of a man to my own heart. I don't do any practice either and just jump in and see how I go, so I know how that feels from a driver's perspective, obviously on the commentary side of things tonight for the GT4s and the Radicals. But I'll ask you the same question I asked Jeff. GT4s around this track, I haven't cut a lap around this track. I literally bought it tonight just to have a look. How do you feel the GT4s were around Willow Springs?
Great combination. You're really on a knife edge with them. You've got to be able to place the car, especially that last corner coming onto the front straight. There's about 15 different lines through there, and only one of them's fast. And the good thing about the Aston, it's got good torque. So Mikey could get me up through this section, as you can see here. But that last corner, if I got through there correctly, I could pull in the Porsches down the main straight. So it's but turn 1 is probably the trickiest, because if you miss the turn in the apex, the outside off there, it's really bumpy. It'll actually throw you around. It's one of the great tracks, I think. There's so much character to it. There's bumps, there's undulations, apexes are on the far side of crests of hills, and it's just one of the good tracks. It's so much fun, especially in this. I think we ran a Downforce Legends here a season or 2 ago, and they were fantastic here as well. It's a really, really good track, but the big high downforce cars don't seem like the big fast ones, F4, F3, stuff like that. It's not really suited to this. I think the F4 really is a wheelhouse for a track like this. It's a lot of fun.
Well, you did a good job tonight, mate. Obviously started out a 2nd in the feature race, finished 7th, not where you wanted, and you said you just picked up the throttle a little bit too late. But mate, for someone that jumps in and doesn't do any practice and has a run, especially in an open setup series, mate, you're doing really good. We've had some good battles on track. You've got to be happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bailey Ladders guys, we got Trent and Adam, and we're all in the Aston, so them guys work on the setups, and I'm a little bit lucky. I just tend to fall into a good setup, which some of those guys have, which absolutely helps. Couple of little things get changed to suit me. I went back to last week's setup that we ran at Imola actually for tonight. I couldn't drive the one that the other guys were fast with here, so there are differences in driving style, but it's great, you know, when you get on a team, you know, with a bunch of guys, it's always good fun. Makes for easier racing.
Well, Joe, congratulations on your P7, mate. Just stay with us. We'll jump across. We've got Sam Chapman in the booth, your winner, back-to-back winners tonight. Chapo, mate. Coming off the Downforce Legends. You weren't too confident in that, and it didn't go too well, as you said. Just bought the track and didn't really have a good run. And then you come out in the GT4s and just wipe the floors, mate. Big congratulations on back-to-back wins.
Yeah, thanks, mate. I didn't see that coming, to be honest. That was a lovely night at the office. I love this track. It's a great track, Willow Springs. Yeah, no, I don't know what sort of mischief happened behind me. But it clearly helped out, staying out a bit longer, and yeah, Jack really was able to sort of find the pace out there tonight. Yeah, great.
Yeah, well, you did a good job. There was a bit of mischief behind you. I did say on the broadcast, if you go watch it back, you pretty much had clear track. People pitted early, and I was worried about whether they would get caught up on stuff, and they did. And things, obviously, track position is key, and you utilised that tonight. And coming from 10th position on the reverse top 10 for race number 2, you did a great job and ended up winning by 7 seconds, mate. So big congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, I was shocked when I came out the pits. I figured I had decent enough pace, and given they'd all pitted early, I figured there would be a bit of a logjam down the road a little bit. So yeah, that all worked out in the end. And yeah, I was sort of shocked when I came out, and there was sort of 4 seconds behind me. I was trying to work out what was happening. Hadn't heard too much over the radio, so I thought I wasn't expecting it.
Well, before we jump across and give you all the shout out, the sponsors and everyone involved in your win, we'll just quickly go back to Jeff. Jeff, mate, round number 5 done and dusted, 9th position tonight. Going into round number 6, how are you feeling about that one, mate?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The GT4s, I really enjoy driving them. And we've got a good group of guys here that have, you know, that everybody drives really well, and everybody's quite, you know, respectful. And even though sometimes we get caught up in things like I did tonight, you know, it's never on purpose, and no one ever really means to do any of that type of stuff. So it's really enjoyable. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, battling up. I've finally got a bit of time to actually do some racing, so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I had a crack over race with Sam. I just sort of shout out to Sam, well done. We had a crack over race in the first race, and unfortunately I got taken out turn 1 on the second race, so I was unable to sort of follow you up there. So yeah, good, well done, mate.
No, thanks for that. That was good fun, that first race. I was a bit shaky there, so I thought but then you and Trent were having a bit of a battle behind me, and I was able to sort of block off the moves. It's actually not all that easy to overtake around here, weirdly enough. It's sort of, you can get alongside, but actually clearing it off is a different story.
Well, round number 6 at Fuji, boys. Round number 6 at Fuji. We're going back to an Asian circuit. We go from an American circuit to an Asian circuit, Fuji. Jeff, straight away, I did ask you about round 6. Have you done a lot of laps around Fuji? How are you feeling about that one?
Not in this car. I have done some laps in the GT3s, but yeah, look, I'm not sure what the what the layout is for Fuji. I'm not sure if it's got the chicane there or not. Does anybody can tell me that? Has it got the chicane there?
We can't see that at the moment, but we'll have to confirm that later on. But yeah, we can't see it at the moment. I'm not in iRacing because I follow a stream on Discord, so I can't actually see what it is. But
it is the Grand Prix. It's the Grand Prix layout, so it uses.
So that'll have the chicane.
It uses the chicane. Turns 10 and 11.
It's a good overtaking place.
Yeah, that's Dunlop corner there.
Yeah, it's got some good opportunities.
Well, Joe, I'll ask you as well, mate. Now we know it's the Grand Prix circuit, Fuji. I know you don't do much practice, but you've probably done a lot of laps around Fuji, mate. How you feeling coming into that one?
Not a lot of laps in this style car. We ran F1 series a couple of probably 12 months ago now, I suppose, and we ran them there, and a couple other the high downforce cars we run there, and I love that place. Fuji's amazing. People are really going to want to get their brake balance and stability in the car for that big stop down at turn 1, which is it's probably the hardest braking zone on the sim. Like it's in these cars, I think make for some good passing opportunities if you can really control your braking and get that right. It should make for good racing. It'll probably hurt your lap time battling down there at turn 1, but the rest of the track it's really flowing and open, and having the Grand Prix, the little chicane in around the back is probably a little bit that's not my favourite version, having
come on, Joe.
chicane around the back.
Come on, Joe.
No,
it's good. It's good, mate.
Yeah,
it adds more
slows down
to the
cars.
race.
Like it does slow the cars down. It probably gives, I wouldn't say it even gives another passing opportunity there, that chicane, because it's so tight on the right left. It probably lends itself more to getting everybody in a line for the final sector of the track, I guess. Whereas without it, obviously you don't want without the chicane in like an F1 car, they'd just be too fast up around that back section. But in these sort of cars, but hey, look, at the end of the day, the track's the same for everybody, and Fuji's a fantastic track.
And Sam, I'll jump into you, mate. Fuji, obviously. How's that suit you? You're coming off back-to-back wins tonight, as we see Joe just having a bit of an incident there with Sharpie on the replay. Sam, coming into Fuji, we had some of the big players out tonight, and you definitely may fail with that and got some good championship points. I'd suspect some of those top guys in the GT4, being the Denchis and the likes, might be back at Fuji. How are you feeling going into Fuji?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's enduro as well, so it'll be extra points. So that will make things interesting. I don't mind Fuji as a track. I've not got heaps around it, but should be fine. Yeah, to be honest, I mean, I think I'm about 25th or something in the championship at the moment. So I've had 2 do not starts for various reasons, and a mess for everything else. So yeah, I was considering not running it, but maybe tonight's brought me back into the fold.
Well, hopefully it does, mate, and we look forward to seeing you out there at Fuji, mate. It was an absolute sensational drive tonight, and a clean set of heels at the front, mate. But big shout out to those sponsors, everyone that made it possible to get the win tonight, mate.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sort of running. I think I'm running the Bintang livery tonight, although I can't see it. I was sponsored by Bintang there for a while when I was in Indonesia, but we'll have to let that go for now. That looks like an interesting livery I've got running.
I have a feeling that it's loaded your livery on your car the wrong way round. Because
looks like the stick.
Actually, you could be right.
Because just give me a minute. I think I can refresh your livery, because I'm looking at it. It's showing me
I was trying to work out
correct
what was going on. I was like, do I've got damage on the back? Like, what's happening
It's
here?
showing me the correct livery there.
Typical trading paints, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just typical trading paint.
I don't actually use
yeah.
trading paints. I don't use trading paints. I use IR Sidekick livery. I find it's better, and the Sidekick livery app shows your livery is correct, but just then it was showing the racing stripe on the side of the car. See?
Oh.
See, that's so weird.
Sure.
So why is it doing that? See, the stripe is on the side of the car, and then on the rear of the car is like another one here on the left. So that's
Daniel, it wouldn't be a night for me in GT4s if there wasn't technical issues. So, it adds up. At least I got on track this week.
You got on track and you got 2 wins, mate. So that's all good. But Daniel, we'll go across and thank you everyone for joining on the Gentleman Sim Racing Club streams, where you're tuning in across the world, whether it be through our Facebook or YouTube streams. We will bring up what is coming up in the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club streams over the next week, and I can't quite read that at the moment because Discord is going crazy. Just wait for that to come up. There it comes up. So Friday night, we've got the Dallara IR18s at Okayama. Race starts at 8:30 p.m. for 45 laps. Saturday night will be Mount Panorama and the Skip Barbers. Race start 8:30 p.m. for what will see 32 laps. We come back on Monday night for the Super 2 V8s, and the Super 3s will be going as well, but not on the broadcast. Your location is Circuit Zandvoort. Race starts at 7:50 p.m. for a 25-minute race. It'll be a double header that night. We'll go across to the GT3s where you'll see me in action at Interlagos. Race starts at 8:45 p.m. for a 60-minute race. On Tuesday, we're back with the Up-and-Comers series in the MX-5s at Alton Park, the historic layout. The race starts at 7:55 p.m. That won't be broadcast at this stage, I don't believe. It will be 3 races that night, and then we go on to the GT1s, the Civil War from Sandown Motor Raceway. I look forward to that one. That's going to be great racing in the GT1s. It's been great racing in the GT1s all season. So that's not broadcast either, but that will be great to watch and be a part of. On the broadcast stuff, on Wednesday night, you will see us back here live on the Downforce Legends from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Race starts at 7:45 p.m. Race 1, 15 minutes. Race 2, 25 minutes. Invert the top 10 as we did tonight. And then we'll bring you the GT4s from Fuji, as we just mentioned. Race will start at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time for a 60-minute race. On Thursday night, we'll be back with the Vs with our new sponsor from this same track, Willow Springs. Race start at 7:45 p.m. The race 1 will be 10 minutes, race 2 15 minutes. Invert the top 10, and then race 3 will be 15 minutes, and then we'll go straight across to the Porsche Cup from the famous track Mount Panorama. Race start 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Of course, though, join us on Monday night. That's the next one broadcast. None other than Zach Caban will be in the booth for that one for the Super 2s. Of course, all the GSRC merch, if you want any of that, jump on to www.grc. Oh, it just went away. Sorry, www.grcmerch.myshopify.com, and you can get all your GSRC merch. And jump on and support the people that support us and support the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club stream, so we can bring you all this action during the week. But once again, a big congratulations to Sam Chapman tonight. He's a double winner here in the GT4s from Willow Springs, with what was an absolutely dominating performance to go back-to-back. But that's us tonight, guys, and GT4 Downforce Legends done and dusted for another night, Wednesday night, here on your Gentlemen Sim Racing Club streams. We can't wait to bring you the Downforce Legends next Wednesday night and the GT4s. Before then, we've got Zach Caban and everyone bringing the Super 2s and a lot more action here on the GSRC streams from myself, Daniel Saar, and everyone on the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club streams. We can't wait to see you next week, and we can't wait to see and bring you all the action from the Downforce Legends and the GT4s here next Wednesday night. Thank you, and we wish you a good night.